All right, well, let's get fired up then. We'll pop over to the main screen. And welcome all the people. Welcome to Modern Day Debate. We're going to be having a discussion tonight on should the U.S. cut ties with Israel. So we have Team Thorp versus CounterPoints and Garet. So thank you guys for coming out to Modern Day Debate. And without further ado, we're going to hand it on over to Ben to get us started up here. So whenever you're ready, the floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you, Ryan. Coming through okay?
Excellent.
All right. Thank you to my fellow debaters, Garet and Connor, and my daughter here is debating with me. We are debating the affirmative of the proposition the U.S. should cut ties to the state of Israel. And what I find fascinating about this, I love to take the contrarian position to be given a weak hand, but I don't think I could possibly be given a stronger hand than the affirmative of this proposition. I absolutely am fascinated by what our interlocutors could possibly put together as any reasons for this relationship to continue. I would use the analogy of our relationship with the state of Israel. It's like having a psychotic girlfriend who demands everything from you, puts you in incredibly dangerous situations, and doesn't even have sex with you. There's no upside. It's all downside. Now, one reason that you could say, like, how could we have gotten into something like this? Well, I do think people know, like, you get into crazy relationships. But here, historically, the U.S., it's very clear how the U.S. got into this relationship. And it wasn't because there were U.S. interests. It happened because of actors inside the US who pushed three of our main kind of like institutions in the direction of supporting Israel. In no particular order, but probably most importantly, I think that everyone at this point knows that the Israel lobby in the US basically controls politicians through not controls, but exerts tremendous control over politicians by funding opposition of anyone who kind of doesn't toe the line on Israel, and shaming them by having them being called anti-Semitic if they in any way veer from. That's why we have a uniparty in this particular issue. Secondly, there has been an enormous influence in the media through both movies and through like news propaganda, where the Israeli side of things gets not in every case, and there are exceptions, but like overwhelming kind of coverage, and it's not balanced at all. Though on the internet now we're seeing like some pushback against that, and thirdly, and perhaps less well known. But I'm a student of theology. The biggest actual number side that believes in this relationship are evangelical Christians who, through a campaign, largely financially driven, but also driven through theology schools and something called the Schofield Bible, have been persuaded in huge numbers to adopt what's called Christian Zionism as a belief system, which has no foundation theologically, historically, and is pretty much an ex nihilo creation of Zionists so that they can say that there are a lot of Americans and American voters on their side. So yes, there's a lot of influence. Yes, there's a lot pushing us in this direction, but none of it has anything to do with what traditionally U.S. relationships are supposed to be based on. And it's a lot like, again, a psychotic, violent girlfriend that you can't seem to break up with because you've become so involved with her. But this is the type of relationship where your friends go, dude, what are you doing? You don't get anything out of this. You must have a fetish for humiliation and being domed and being put in violent situations in which you always lose and will always lose. I think that's well known. There's no upside here, and I'm just fascinated to see if these folks could possibly conjure up any reason whatsoever why we should continue in this relationship. That's it. That's it.
All right, gotcha. All right, we're going to hand it over to Grace for their introduction. So thank you so much, Ben, for that there. I want to remind everybody here at Modern Day Debate that we are a neutral platform hosting debates on science, politics, religion. We do hope you feel welcome. I do see you guys are hanging out in the live chat. Take a moment to smack that like button around. We do appreciate when you do that. We're live right now, so that definitely helps boost us up in the algorithm, and let's see what we can do. So I'm going to reset my timer here, hand the floor over to Grace. So Grace, whenever you're ready, the floor is yours.
Well, I'm just here on behalf of my fellow Gen Zers and younger Americans. 60% of us are anti-Israel and pro-Palestine, and that number is growing every day. I think if you really do care about Americans, even American Jews, the rise of Candace Owens and Nicholas Fuentes definitely shows that my generation is not on board with Hasbara. And in order to prevent things from getting any crazier, I would suggest that we listen to the young people, listen to our future voters, and pull out before things get too hairy. In the words of Rihanna, I'd like to sing this to the state of Israel on behalf of America. Put on quite a show, really had me going, but now it's time to go. Curtains finally closing, that was quite a show. Very entertaining, yeah, but it's over now. But it's over now. Israel, take a bow. Thank you.
That was unexpected, but yeah, we'll cue the applause. There you go. Thank you so much, Grace, for your introductory statement.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I was gonna say, I think we've talked about it before. I'm definitely allowed. I said somebody in the live chat. Ryan should do backup. I was gonna say I'm a loud singer myself. I usually just.
I should have told you beforehand.
Surprise everybody. No, I was gonna say spend all summer long. That's why I wasn't on Modern Day Debate as much. We were just touring around and making music and.
Ryan, you should have jumped in.
Oh yeah. The delay would have just made it so great. Anyway, let's hand it on over before we get too distracted here. It was different from Modern Day Debate. Definitely a new one for me. So. Who would like to go first on the other side? I don't think we actually established that before we started.
Either way, I'm going to need to grab some headphones when we're done with the opener. So, Garet, do you want to go first or do you want me to hit it?
All right.
Yeah, I can go first.
All right. You get your headphones and we'll let Garet start out. So 6 minutes on the floor. Ready when you are.
Can you hear me okay? Just checking.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So I'm really confused by this topic because the benefits of, like Ben said, that there's no benefits, and I would definitely disagree, and I'm sure Connor will too. There's intelligence benefits from multiple operations over the years. There's a lot of technology sharing, military sharing, intelligence sharing. There's shared values. Like there's so many intertwining between Israel and the United States. It seems kind of foolish and silly to just cut ties with one of our few allies in the Middle East, and that seems like a great way to like push Israel into an allyship with some other major world power. Connor and I were talking about this earlier, like they could be pushed into the arms of China, of Russia, and I think that would be excessively foolish. I think it would be much more beneficial to strengthen relationship while also criticizing them for the mistakes that they make, just like American citizens criticize the United States for the mistakes we make. Like I think that's a two-way street that should absolutely be used. But to just cut ties completely, I think that's absurd. And I would also like to know who would replace Israel in terms of an ally in the Middle East. Who else would we partner with? So that's the extent of my opening. Connor can go ahead.
All right, you have quite a bit of time left there. So 6 minutes on the floor, but if you go a little bit over, that's okay, just because there's a little I don't know. We're kind of wrapping up a little sooner than maybe we expected. So I'll put 6 minutes on the floor, and you can hammer it down as soon as you're ready there, CounterPoints. I don't have any audio from you right yet. Yeah, just 1 second. Yeah, if you
What
can
about
step
now?
out for a second there, Grace, it's all good.
Much better.
Yeah, we can hear you now. So yeah, we're going to hand over the introduction to, the 6 minute intro for CounterPoints point here, and then we're going to go into our open discussion and remind you all about the super chat. So we'll do that then. Over to you, CounterPoints, and we'll get you off mute there.
Okay, then I'll try. Everybody was so brief. I'll try to cover 3,200 years of history very briefly. Okay, so the regional history of Israel actually stretches back pretty far. I know that a lot of people like to separate modern Israel from ancient Israel, but I don't think you can, considering you have a historical continuation through the Torah and through the Bible. They suffered God chose the chosen people, and he put them at the crossroads of humanity. They went through the Persian conquest, the Babylonian exile, the Hellenic invasion, the Roman invasion, the Muslim invasion, the Crusades. And so effectively they got screwed over again and again and again. And then that ultimately resulted in the diaspora, where the Jewish population of Israel spread out across the world. So if you look at it, they largely survived as a second-class citizen in every other major civilization through the 19th century, at which point there was a secular and pseudo-religious movement in order to reclaim the Holy Land on behalf of the Jews. So when the Ottoman Empire collapsed, even before the Ottoman Empire collapsed, there was a movement of Jewish folks back to Israel with the British Mandate that accelerated, and then that was blocked off due to tensions between Muslims and Jews in the region. The formation in 48 was actually not America instantaneously jumping onto the bandwagon and being like, woo, Israel. There was actually a decade or two where we avoided Israel like the plague because we didn't want to get involved in their BS. But what ended up happening was they proved that they weren't a fluke. They proved that they weren't going anywhere. And so we warmed relations with them in the 1960s, especially after once they started drifting away from the socialism that they had been founded on. Once they decided to be a mixed economy capitalist, relatively open society, we opened up our relationships with them. And Nixon is quoted as saying that there were two pillars of American security in the Middle East and North Africa. That was Iran and Saudi Arabia. I would argue that the two modern pillars, because Iran has become hostile since the revolution, is Israel and Saudi Arabia. And to point to what Garet said earlier, in the Middle East and North Africa, we really do have two major, intel sharing groups. A lot of them are the Gulf states, but they don't want to share what they don't want to share because some people within their governments are actually allied with our opposition. Whereas Israel views the enemy of their enemy, we are the enemies of their enemies, therefore we are their friends. So not only do we share intel, we also share the military-industrial complex connections. We can get into the details in reference to that. They have a pretty aggressive entrepreneurial spirit. They have a pretty aggressive Western-style open society with 20% of their population being Arab Muslim. They are a nuclear power, meaning that they have nuclear weapons. So we are not interested in the Middle East and North Africa taking over a nuclear power if Israel was ever invaded. And then also, we could go over their entanglements with Iran. But effectively, their entanglements with Iran have benefited us in the past decade or two. Their intel sharing and not only them taking out the nuclear facilities in 2010 via computer hacking, some of that is some of the most brilliant intel assassination operations on the planet. You're saying that they're our psychotic girlfriend. I mean, I kind of agree with you, but I think your psycho girlfriend, when she can hold her own, you back your psycho girlfriend. We can get into the Judeo-Christian mythology that was created in the 20th century and get into whether or not that's valid. And then also Gen Z, 60% of them are pro-Palestinian. I don't care. Arguments ad populum, where people are popular or arguments are popular, I don't give a shit. That has nothing to do with correctness. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and mute myself.
All right. Well, we are going to go into an open discussion. Thank you so much, CounterPoints and Garet, for your introductory statements. Before we get into the open discussion, I do want to remind everybody hanging out in the live audience, once again, if you smash that like button where we're live, you'll help boost us up in the algorithm and more people will get to see the debate. It's going to be a lot of fun, so please do that. And also, we are going to take super chats at the end of the discussion. So if you're hanging out in our modern day debate live chat right now, I see there's quite a bit of you chit-chatting in there. You want to put in a super chat, we will read them live at the end of the discussion, except for these two from Even Lord, one that says, "Good evening, Mr. Ryan, you're looking sharp." Well, thank you. I'm sure you're looking great yourself. And Even Lord says, "Win with Grace's singing, much better than First Offender's poem." All right. We'll just try to bring up the mood a little bit there with that. Thanks, Even Lord. Let's hand it back over to the Thorps to respond to some of what they just heard there. And feel free to jump in, Garet and CounterPoints, when you're ready.
Dad, you're muted. Yeah, you muted yourself. Oh, Ryan, is he muted? CounterPoints, I wanted to say, you said, you agree that it's your psycho girlfriend, but she can handle herself, so just back her up. But without America's backing, Israel would fall apart in 2 seconds. Like, we prop them up. Backing someone up is different than propping someone up. Don't you think that's true?
I don't think that's true. I think if that was true, they would have lost in 48, 56, 67, 73. So no, I disagree.
And not only that, they wouldn't fall apart. If we abandon Israel, they'll just go to somebody else. Like
that's not true. Nobody else backs them. Like, they all think what they're doing is disgusting with the genocide.
Yeah, but what we give them on an annual basis is like what, 3.2, 3.8 billion dollars in effectively like military.
We give them $15 billion. $15 billion this year.
I don't even think that's true. I'm pretty sure it's
3.8 per year.
Yeah,
currently.
So per year,
plus an added 13 billion.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about since 2023, I wouldn't consider that like an annual thing. But at the same time, if it was 15 billion, if it was 3.8 billion per year, at the same time, like their economy is substantively larger than that. Like I think it's stretching towards the $200 billion mark. I could go ahead and take a look at their income taxes and take a look at their GDP, but effectively this is like it's a percentage. They
so your point is so your point is they're doing great. Okay, great. So they don't need us. Bye. Why would you make that point?
But we also need them for the intelligence gathering.
Okay, can we pick up the intelligence? Okay, it is well known in the CIA, in the intelligence community, that the Israelis are the worst partners we could ever have. They have absolutely no regard for the rules within the intelligence community. They're banned literally from the CIA building. They operate without any restraint, and they spy on us, which we don't do to them. They are not an intelligence asset. They spy. They use their intelligence officers openly to spy on us. They try to bug everything. Donald Trump recently, like the Secret Service, allegedly, like it was bugged after Bibi's arrival, and they openly did this to their past greatest ally, which was Great Britain, who was the last great power which backed them. They screwed Great Britain over royally. They terrorized Great Britain. They hung their soldiers from trees to show who really was the boss there. What I find amazing is I was like, okay, they're going to come up with something. Every single one of your points is exactly opposite of what is true.
No, it's not. And on top of that, like we got caught.
Give me another one.
Well, I'll just respond to exactly what you said. You said, "Oh, well, they're spying on us. They use their intel and diplomatic staff in order to spy on their allies, including us." We got caught doing the exact same shit in 2010. We spy on all the European nations. We got caught sneaking bugs into all of the major European governorships. So this is like pretending like, the CIA has its hands clean, but Mossad is actually, the real dirty one. That's just fucking cope. That's naivete.
Okay. How do you think Israel got a hold of nuclear technology? Didn't they steal it from the U.S., obviously?
Well, I would say that from the 40s to the 60s, effectively, they were on their own. And they did take a lot of intellectual property from the military-industrial complex, from commercial areas, because nobody would give them anything. And so,
do you know who wanted to put a stop to to them getting our nuclear secret?
Is it JFK?
JFK. That's right.
Yeah. Do you think that's why he got shot?
Maybe.
Okay. Listen, that's like what's so funny about like the JFK documents coming out for the 50th time in a row is that the JFK documents effectively showed that there were 12 different groups who all had motivation in order to shoot him in the face, and it ended up being Lee Harvey Oswald. So that's okay. So hold on. Let's nail down on
wait a second. You championed.
So hold on.
You championed. Wait a minute. Let me respond to that.
Hold on.
You championed.
Are we really turning this into a JFK debate?
No. You championed how great it is that Israel, and they openly do this, assassinate leaders all the time. You love it. You think it's fantastic. You think pager attacks utilizing a new form, introducing to the world a new form of terrorism, which is what that is fantastic. Introducing it into the supply chain, right? The industrial supply chain.
You're echoing through
C4
Grace's
explosives.
mic. You might want to
Yeah.
close that
Oh, my
door,
bad.
Grace.
I'll mute my mic. Sorry. No, his door's closed.
So
Oh,
you don't
okay.
think they assassinate people? That's a
No, I would
conspiracy
like
theory?
it if you I would like it if you use words that like made sense. So for instance, you're talking about the Patriot attack and you're saying that it's terrorism.
Yes.
As far as I know, they actually infiltrated the logistics network and for the beepers and the pagers that Hezbollah was using. It's one of the most accurately targeted anti-terrorist operations in history. And when you're talking about terrorism, what terrorism is intentionally targeting civilians in order to achieve political aims. So no, I don't accept that Hezbollah is, the normal kid walking down the road holding some roses. That's bullshit.
Okay, so that's not a form of terror. What about assassinations? Do they openly do assassinations?
We openly do assassinations against our enemies. So
And who are most of those enemies? What's the last assassination we did?
I mean, we had Operation Phoenix, which was effectively a mass assassination program throughout the 1970s. We did that. We did that in the 80s in reference to the drug war. We're doing that right now in South America. What the fuck are you talking about?
Here's what the fuck I'm talking about. We assassinate leaders on behalf of the Israelis. Okay, I don't think we should be doing that. I don't think assassinations make much sense. Are you saying that you think assassinations are a good idea?
I think it depends on the enemy.
Okay.
You have to add some context to what you're talking about, though. Like what you're
Hold on a second, Ben. Let's give Garet some space.
I'm an American, so I actually don't care about killing communists or killing jihadists. That's actually like
you care about international law?
Not really.
The United States.
All right, let's look at it again.
Okay, perfect.
Hold on. I'm just gonna be unfair for a second. Let's let Garet in there, guys, with a point.
I thought the United States was not held to international law.
Come back.
Are you talking?
I thought there was more.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
we're not signatories to a whole bunch of international law, specifically because we don't want our people to be held accountable to standards that we might not want to follow.
Right. Okay. So do you think that there are any international laws that apply to the United States? So the United Nations is in New York. We signed the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, right? The only country that hasn't is, guess who? Israel, our greatest ally.
You're all over the place. Can you pick one and stick with it? Because the reason why they want nukes is to make sure that they don't get invaded, which they've been invaded in 48, 56, 67, 73. If you were invaded every decade, wouldn't you want nukes?
Yes.
Isn't that rational self-interest?
All lies. Those were all preemptive wars. Those were not invasions.
Oh, okay. So if I put a bunch of tanks, soldiers, and aircraft, and I start jet fueling, and you catch a bunch of radio traffic saying, oh, hey, we're going to hit them next week, you have to wait for me to cross your border before you do something about it?
Yeah, before you call it an invasion. Yes, Connor. It's called English. You should learn how to use it.
No, that's just
this
absurd.
Is insane, Cope.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure I understand what an invasion is, but you guys don't understand it. Now, assassinations are
that would still count as an invasion if you're talking about picking up radio transmissions as a result of your intelligence gathering activities. It's an impending invasion. I would still say that counts. How does that not count?
I think you're crazy then. Okay, so a preemptive war is a war of defense. That's not true. Every country which has invaded another country does what you're saying. Putin didn't.
Okay, so what you're saying is so France during World War II, when Germany was building up in order to do what they were doing, they had no right to do anything until the Germans crossed into their border.
The Germans justified their invasion of France by saying that the Versailles Treaty gave them a raw deal and took away land from them, right? And so invaded them, and they took every aggressor throughout history has always said that it's a defensive war because it's embarrassing to invade another country other than,
wait. So hold on. By this logic, Israel is the aggressor. Okay. And they, to your credit, they took the Sinai. Why'd they give the Sinai back?
They gave the Sinai back. Why did they give the Sinai back? Because they were pressured to do so.
Okay, but
Why don't they wipe all the Palestinians out?
They won it
Because
fair
there's
and square.
pressure
They
for
could
them not to
probably
do
hold
that.
it against Egypt. Why did they give it back?
They did it because they were pressured to do so by.
Okay, Ben, what I'm getting at is the fact that if Israel wanted to be offensive, they have a centuries-long history of kicking the dick in of Arab armies. But typically what ends up happening is Arab armies swarm their fucking border like they did in 48, 56, 67, and 73. They get their shit kicked in. Israel expands for a little bit, and then it up until the the clean break memo, which was like the 90s and the thousands. Up until then, their position had been they're going to give up territory for peace. That had been their consistent position for the better part of a century.
Right. It's called right. So if you're saying, well, if Israel attacked other countries, they would be the emperors of the world. Right. Okay. Yes, there are reasons why invaders hold back, right?
By the way, Connor,
here?
Connor, Israel, you said they have a history of kicking the dicks in of Arab armies. They were humiliated by a couple of Hamas militiamen on October 7th, utterly humiliated and had a temper tantrum up until and including right now, and killed 60,000 innocent people for that.
And
But I
estimated
wouldn't
20,000
consider.
of those people are militants. So once again, you're just wrong.
Right,
And not
I
only
mean-
that, if you're making the statement of, oh,
But my
Israel
point is they got
so
humiliated. My
militarily
point is they got
incompetent.
humiliated.
Israel
So
is so
they need us.
militarily
That's my point.
incompetent.
They got humiliated.
I'll wait, but then I'm just going to say what I was going to say anyways.
My point is they got humiliated by a couple of militia guys. That's why they need America, because they actually don't kick the dick in of Arabs.
Wait, hold on. But by your own logic, Hamas militants invaded Israel for one day. They killed 900 civilians. They killed 300 IDF members. And then immediately after that, for the past 3 years, Hamas has not had a single military victory since. They've lost 20,000 fighters. Even logically, by your own statements, don't you think 20,000 is a larger number than 300?
Who gave you that number?
Reporting is that the estimated from the Gaza Ministry of Health is that 69,000 people are currently dead, and estimated 200,000 people are currently estimated to be killed by indirect circumstances like dehydration, death, starvation, whatever. Okay.
Right.
Now, out of that 60,000,
which is kicking the dick in, right?
Which
is like rah, rah, rah.
Hold on, you asked me a question. I want to answer the question. I want to answer the question you asked me.
And the targeted killing of children,
I want to answer the question you asked me.
Rah, rah, rah. You must have such low self-esteem that you
let him
have
answer the question.
Ultra-violent, psychopathic, genocidal killing. But I guess there are people as sad as you in this world.
Okay,
how dare you?
The question that you asked.
How dare you?
Answering the question that you asked, the question that you asked is, how do we know? It's because the IDF estimates for the amount of fighters that they believe they've killed is 14,000. And then some people have put it higher because those are the ones that they've identified. So that's people that they have photographs of, names of, networks of. That's not even the ones that just picked up an AK and got smoked.
You are such a ridiculous person. You are pro-Israeli because you're a loser who thinks it's cool that psychopathic, violent terrorists kill children and women. What wouldn't you be in favor of? You must have thought that like the way that the Native Americans were treated was baller. And what about the blacks in Africa? They got their dicks kicked in by the whites. What is wrong with you?
At no point was he talking. At no point was Connor glorifying the deaths of women and children.
He most certainly was.
No, he was specifically talking about militants that were killed.
He said Arabs.
Okay. And by the way, Ben, here's the unfortunate part of this conversation. I already know, I can already tell, I know shitloads more history than you. In West Africa, just as an example, Europeans never invaded West Africa. They relied on kingdoms like Benin in order to kill and capture the people in West Africa.
Yes, I'm aware of
that.
So
all you're doing is you're moral frogging because you don't know what you're talking about.
Moral frogging. Okay, nice going. Okay, so you're championing a group of people being ultra violent towards other people. What is positive about that in your mind?
No, we are not championing that. What we are championing is maintaining the relationship with Israel.
It's shameful that any group of people does that.
Ben, this is how dumb this line of argumentation is. You're cheering on ultra violent people. I'm sorry. What was October 7th? A fucking walk in the park? Or was that a bunch of militiamen walking into a rock concert, finding a bunch of civilians, shooting them in the back of the fucking head, and all the circumstantial evidence of fucking sexual assault? They have women tied up to trees. They got women shot in the back of the head. They got
babies
their pants
in
around their
ovens.
ankles.
We've heard all
they
this
got they got
bullshit.
fire on their
Are you
genitals.
getting paid
So
by the
sorry,
IDF,
hold
I
on.
hope?
You're morally
Babies
indicting
in ovens
me
stacked
because
up
I'm
20
allegedly
tall, right?
Hold on there, Ben.
glorifying
Let's
violence.
Ben 1
And
second.
yet
All
you
right.
won't
Just 1
acknowledge
second,
real evidence. Like go ahead and tell me what you think about that. What do you think Hamas did on October 7, 2023? Please enlighten me what you think they did.
We don't know
They
what
brought
happened
cake,
on October
right?
7th of 2023 because do you know who would have the ability to research that and figure out what happened? The UN, right? Or any number of agencies. Guess what happened after October 7th? The Israelis buried everybody and the cars and all of the evidence and have never allowed an independent investigation to take place. So we have no idea what happened.
No, you just never read the report. The UN report talked to the morgue staff. They talked to first responders. They talked to soldiers. They talked to cops. They talked to fucking everybody. They reviewed video evidence. They reviewed photo evidence. Matter of fact, if you wanted to, Ben, there's an entire fucking video series that Israel posted online where they showed Hamas's own homemade footage. And you know what it shows? It shows the mass slaughter of civilians, men, women, and children.
No, it does not. It doesn't. I've seen that footage. It doesn't. It shows a guy hitting an ambulance tire. It shows a guy shooting at someone who's shooting at him while there's a woman who ducks down who he leaves alone. It shows people taking out. They're obviously their motive there. And it's in there.
You
can talk over me. Go ahead. You talk over me. Right.
I've watched people
right.
get
IDF.
decapitated. What the fuck are you talking about?
Just like the IDF guys do. Go ahead. Yep.
Okay, yeah, you're lying or you're stupid, and I don't know which one because
Great argument
footage as well.
Great argument. Okay, so I would love it if we could not do the IDF routine of you. Okay, you're going to talk over
just to
me.
remind you. I mean, that was it. You're the one who started
the
ad hominems.
Just go ahead. You guys are doing it. IDF, take the floor.
Hold on. Let's be fair and also let Grace and Garet in on the conversation as well there, guys. I know it's getting a little juicy over there, but you've been sitting back and kind of just absorbing a little bit there. So let's hand it over to you, Grace, and get your opinion in on here. All right?
Well, is it not somewhat counterproductive to your own argument to say Israel's doing a great job on their own? Why do they need our help? Let them do it. Let them commit the genocide or kick the dicks in of Arabs, if that's how you want to say if that's how you want to characterize it. If Americans don't want to help them, Americans think it's disgusting, especially my generation who is going to be coming into power. Let's just let them do all the awesome stuff they're already doing. They'll fail. That's what they want us because they'll fail. You making an argument that the Israelis are awesome and they've got it and they're capable and they're not incompetent. Okay, let them be awesome. I don't want to fund it. I don't want my taxpayer dollars going to a genocide. And neither does 60% of my generation, and nor do more and more Americans. How does it help us? You still haven't made that point.
Connor has low self-esteem, so he needs to feel like he's a big man.
You're out of turn.
Right. Hold on, Ben. You're trying to set everything on fire.
It's worth $15 billion to prop this guy's loser ego up with.
I have really fantastic self-esteem. So
all right, let's not get into an old dink measuring competition here. We're gonna try to get back up here if we can. Garet, help us out.
So the Thorps have not presented a solid foundational case for eliminating or cutting the ties to Israel. You simply haven't. There's many benefits to maintaining this relationship with Israel, from economic ties to intelligence to like any number of situations. Like I said, shared values. And the most important question is the Middle Eastern intelligence that we gain from them. Who would replace Israel?
I can answer that question. Who would replace Israel in getting $15 billion in aid? How about Americans? How about that?
I
How about
didn't say
Americans
50.
who are struggling? How about young
That's
people who are
an
struggling
absurd
to buy
answer to my
Hey,
question.
can I finish
I was
talking? I didn't
specifically
interrupt you.
talking about
Oh,
the
here we go.
intelligence.
Hold
Again.
on, hold on, hold on.
The intelligence gathering.
Talk over me. Yep. Okay. Yep. Rabbi
You've been
Shmuel,
talking over everyone else.
So yeah, I was gonna say just because he was just trying to make a point of clarification there, I think it was fair for Garrett to jump in. But go ahead there, Ben, and if you can continue with your response.
Specifically, the intelligence gathering.
Can we make a rule here that one person talks at a time, or no?
As long as you follow it too.
Okay, that's great. So my point is, who could use $15 billion? Americans. I don't think that money is well spent anywhere other than America. And I don't understand why we're funding a genocide that has turned the entire rest of the international community against us, that has made us the arch enemies of the neighbors of Israel, which are powerful nations, and has alienated us dramatically from the Muslim world of 2.2 billion people. Make it make sense.
Hold
I
on,
mean,
I have a response. Wait, I have a response to your intelligence
All right.
question.
Well, no,
Was
because
it-
we're going to detract. Just if you can hold it right quick, and
Okay.
then we'll come back to it. Just because we're got counterpoints coming in to respond to what
That's
Ben
fine.
just said.
Okay. Yeah. I think you spend too much time on TikTok and not enough time reading. If your assessment of
been on
reality
TikTok.
was true, then why wouldn't Turkey, Syria, Lebanon, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Egypt, why wouldn't they have all publicly taken the side of Palestine? And the answer is that this conflict over the past 2 years is actually fairly unique within the past 100 years in that these partners have largely stayed silent. One of the most interesting moments of the past 2 or 3 years was a Saudi Arabian newscaster, female newscaster, not in a burqa, not in a hijab, challenging the leader of Hamas over why he was openly saying that they needed to martyr their own civilians in order to destroy Israel. That was a phenomenally interesting moment. Now, I'm not naive. I believe that this peace is largely bought by American security guarantees, but I would rather have a pretty stable Middle East and North Africa, especially if the 20-point plan that Trump has already fallen through on, if the 22-point plan was actually executed, I think this would be a brilliant moment in the Middle East and North Africa.
Right.
But just one more thing though. You guys are basically just like blasting like TikTok talking points at me. 60,000 out of 2.2 million over the course of like 2 years is not a genocide. I'm just going to put it right there for you. So
We do have to hand the floor,
I think just
to be fair.
I hope you feel the same way when it happens to you.
histrionics are not competent arguments.
All right.
Okay. So, all right. So you're saying that 60,000 majority women and children, not a problem for you, even though there's been no civilian casualties anywhere near that in the 21st century.
I don't think you're
Okay,
familiar with
including
the
the
history of
targeting. No,
warfare.
shut the fuck
All right,
up.
one
I'm
second.
talking. I didn't interrupt you. Connor, I know you got
Hold
low
on.
self-esteem.
Don't get distracted.
Control
Just,
yourself.
let's just carry on if you can.
Stop with the meta.
Me stop with the meta? This guy's saying I've never been on TikTok, moron. I have a master's degree. I've read books. I know what they are. What are you talking about?
In a
I'm
minute,
not a
then.
TikTok guy. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Okay, so can we talk about substantive points?
I had a response to Garrett. He said that what would we like we the intelligence is super good, right?
The intelligence gathering activities that Israel performs for the United States.
Okay,
Who would
wasn't
replace
it
them?
wasn't it BB well, hang on. I just have a question about the standard of intelligence. Well, didn't Bibi Netanyahu get us into Iraq by saying Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction, which was a complete and utter lie, which led to 4,400 Americans dying and $2 trillion spent in a war that he started under false premises because of Israeli intelligence? I'll pass, Garrett. I'll pass on the Israeli intelligence on Middle Eastern nations.
Garrett, can I address this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So this is again where I feel like you guys are just like internet talking points, all right?
Oh my God.
During we had the twin pillars during the 1970s, which was our security, our attempts at security within the Middle East and North Africa. The two countries that we relied on were Saudi Arabia and Iran. Well, what happened in 79 was Iran was the Shah that we had appointed effectively dictator or king of Iran was deposed, and Iran became hostile to us. Well, Saddam Hussein, being a dick, invaded Iran, trying to seize their western oil fields. What ended up happening was Iran counterattacked, and they ended up doing quite well. They were kicking the shit in of Iraq. So what was scary was that 1/3 of the world's proven oil reserves are in Iran, 1/3 are in Saudi Arabia. And so what we did is we sold weapons of mass destruction to Iraq during the 1980s. We sold them botulism, we sold them anthrax, we sold them precursors for VX. We sold them the weapons of mass destruction that they used. But what ended up happening in the 1980s is rather than using it against Iran, they started using it against our allies. So they actually attacked Israel. They attacked Saudi Arabia. They didn't just attack Iran. They also gassed their own ethnic minorities and religious religious majority, but they gassed the Shia Muslims of Iraq. They gassed the Kurds of Iraq. And so as a result, we said, Saddam Hussein, you're a fucking piece of shit. Fuck you. We're not giving you any more shit. And that was basically the precursor to the Gulf War in 92, where we kicked his ass out of Kuwait because he invaded Kuwait. So the whole point is that, like, you're saying, like, oh, the Jews lied to us or Israel lied to us about weapons of mass destruction.
I said Israel. I didn't say the Jews.
No,
but
of
that's another
course.
little
This is it.
sneaky thing you'd like to add in there.
Anti-Semitism,
Out of
you're not-
everything I said,
You're interrupting.
I never
All
said
right,
the Jews.
you guys have broken the
That's
rule.
your
Right,
takeaway.
You
Kind of
broke
feels
the
like
rule.
a lame takeaway
Hold
to
on.
have after everything I said.
Hold on.
For real.
But anyways, we knew that they had weapons of
Let's-
mass destruction because we sold them weapons of mass destruction.
All right, let's hand it over. There's definitely lots lots to react to there, obviously. So I'll give it to you, Grace. You get the first word there.
I mean, are you claiming that Bibi Netanyahu's claim that Saddam Hussein possessed weapons of mass destruction, that was not a false claim? It was false. You didn't respond to my point about.
It wasn't false.
Instead of you reading off history that's not relevant to the point I'm making, just to gish gallop and just argue into oblivion, just tell us something random. I'd like Garet to respond to my point because he made the point about Israeli intelligence being so awesome and worth $14 billion of our dollars last year. I'd like him to respond to my point about what Bibi said about Saddam Hussein.
Okay, I'm
Go
just going
ahead.
to say that my point was exactly pertinent to what you were arguing.
That's exactly
Garet,
what I
go
thought.
ahead.
I don't need to respond. Connor asked to take it from me, and I agreed. Let's move on.
Okay.
Hold on. So no.
So you have no
I'll respond
response.
more
Okay, good to know.
directly without history. I'll respond more directly without history. So the intel that he had a new WND program, I'll agree, was largely based off of bullshit. It was based off of a single source. Donald Rumsfeld, Dick Cheney, and George Bush were looking for an excuse in order to get into Iraq.
Right.
But what I would say as far as the intel goes in reference to Iraq having a weapons of mass destruction program in general, no, that's not bullshit. And also knocking out
wasn't his
Iraq,
claim-
knocking
wasn't-
out Iraq
okay,
is
go ahead,
in
sorry.
America's geopolitical interest.
But wasn't his claim what got us into the war that cost us $14 trillion and 4,400
No,
dead U.S.
he was
soldiers?
no, he was one of like
Was that
10,000
not-
people who were
Oh,
saber
and
rattling
Israel
at the
doesn't
time.
have special power over the U.S. military invasions. Okay, sure. The lobby.
Yeah, Israel does not have special power over.
Yeah, no. So if
US
Bibi
military
Netanyahu says,
intervention.
"Hey, you should attack these guys," that doesn't mean anything now. Even though he's bragging
No, it
about how
does, but
American,
he's one
American
of
and Falcon. That doesn't
Hold
mean
on one
anything.
second there, Grace. Just we can't really can't gather anything that CounterPoints is trying to respond to there. So
Sorry.
Well,
let's just give him a
all I
chance
was
to
gonna say is
frame his
that
thoughts.
Bibi Netanyahu is one stakeholder. We also talked to the Saudis. We also talked to the Qataris. We also talked to the Omanis. We also talked to the Egyptians. We had talked to fucking everybody in the region. So pretending that like Bibi Netanyahu just like snaps his fingers and then America hops too, it's bullshit. It's
That's
not
what
even,
he says.
He says America's in his pocket.
He
and brags.
openly brags that he controls Donald Trump.
Yeah. So
well,
Document.
Donald Trump is easily manipulatable, so I don't really hold that as like a high standard.
You added an
Right.
extra syllable to that word. Maybe you should read more books and do less TikTok.
look,
Easily
we can move on from that
manipulated.
point, but I just don't think you guys really responded. You can just agree that the intelligence is not really a winning point. Let's move on to another point. Why should we continue funding them? Go ahead.
No, because I'm not
Well,
going to
no,
concede your point. Because as
right.
an example, we took out, or the Israelis took out Iran's nuclear enrichment program in 2011. which was like a masterstroke of intelligence gathering and sabotage. So no, I don't agree with you that, oh, just because this one thing that I don't even agree with you on the context is, no, I don't agree with you at all.
Okay, can I ask a broader question?
Hold on.
No, your guy just talked.
You still haven't. The question I asked still has not been answered.
Again. Okay.
Who would replace Israel for intelligence gathering?
The American
regardless
people.
of how good.
So let me respond.
We're just going to put Americans in the Middle East to be
Yeah,
spies.
All right, it's
and
fair to
spy
let
on
Ben
Americans.
respond at this point. So
American
just one
government
second
should
to Garet.
serve Americans. Here's a broader question, guys. What are the interests of the United States of America in the Middle East? And what justifies all of the pain and suffering that we've experienced at the hands of Muslim terrorists, 9/11, all this stuff, all of the expenditures, all of the wars? What are our interests? If you say energy, that's not true. Europeans have interests. The Russians have interests. India has interests. We do not really have energy interests in the Middle East. We're energy self-sufficient. But you could say trade and things like that. All of this is destroyed by our relationship with Israel or mitigated. So we have to, as Connor correctly, thankfully said, we have to pay them off billions of dollars to not listen to their own populations, which want the Palestinian problem solved justly. So what can you name what it is that we're doing in the Middle East? Why are we?
I can answer this. So you're just wrong again. 2/3 of the world energy supply is in the Middle East and North Africa. We did not become energy self-sufficient until the past decade when fracking opened up a shitload of new energy availability within the United States. So we were only energy available within the past fucking decade. So ignoring that context is fucking crazy. Not just that, the stability of our oil reserves and our oil exports is reliant on the global market. Not just that, since World War II, the United States, through unilateral, bilateral, multilateral trade negotiations and security agreements, we are responsible for $70 trillion of the world's annual $100 trillion economic output. So yeah, we're the world police, but the world police comes with privileges. It comes with cheap international goods, and it also comes with responsibilities. And those responsibilities are making sure that we avoid World War III. That's the real answer to the question you just asked.
Okay, so you believe that the United States is the emperor of the world, and you like that, and you think that? Do you think that's compatible with the principles upon which this nation was founded?
Yeah, we fought Barbary pirates within 30 years of our founding. We expanded westward the entire first century. We fought banana wars in the early 20th century. World War I and World War II, isolationists such as yourself made arguments that we had no business being in Europe. Well, you know what ended up happening? We got sucked into European conflicts anyways. So preventing World War III is infinitely cheaper than waiting for World War III to kick off. Yeah, that's
preventing World War III? Israel is causing World War III.
Do you think that us being involved in World War I,
you think bombing a single nuclear weapon site
just one second.
World War III?
Just one second. We'll let Ben finish his point, and we'll let you.
Do you think the United States being involved in World War I, World War II, the Vietnam War, the Korean War, and Iraq, Afghanistan, all the rest? Name one of those things that was to the benefit of America.
I would argue that World War II was 100% to the benefit of America because Europe has remained for the past century one of our largest cultural and economic trading partners. And if they fell to communism, that would have been like a massive blow to the free world. I would argue that Korea is a massive trading partner and also has high. No, yeah, you asked me a question. I'm going to answer.
Can I just?
No, I don't want. No, I want to go.
IDF gets the floor.
So, so with Korea, tens of millions of people are free now, and they're productive and they're economically productive, and we benefit from that relationship. Weirdly enough, we lost Vietnam, but because the Vietnamese hate China more than they hate us, we now have a positive relationship. And then I would argue that all of our little military adventurism through the 80s and 90s, fighting jihadism and fighting communism, were absolutely fucking based and beneficial to the United States of America.
Okay. Are you aware? You just said that our involvement in World War II prevented communism. Are you out of your mind? You have no idea what World War II was about?
I said if I said that, then I spoke incorrectly. What I'm talking about, since 1950, since approximately 1950, We decided to have
Let's
an
go back to World War II.
anti-communist, interventionist
You
world
said
war,
that World
world
War
policy.
II
It was called the Cold
important.
War. Just in case you
200,000
forgot.
American soldiers died in World War II to prevent communism from taking over Europe. And
Okay.
you
He did
say
correct
I
himself.
misspoke. Hold on,
You
Ben.
read books.
Stop spurging. Stop spurging. If I said that, I misspoke. Now listen to what I'm saying. Since World War II, the United States and the free world has taken an aggressive posture against communism. It was the Cold War, and arguably Korea, Vietnam, and a whole host of other conflicts were involved in that conflict. And the fall of communism through military adventurism, trade, and diplomacy was a good thing. So if I misspoke, my apologies.
Okay, that's
Deal
fine. You
with
can
what
make
I said instead of my misspeak.
Hey, maybe if you fuck something up, you could say like, I fucked up instead of going like, hey, right? Okay,
That's
okay.
what
You
a
made a
misspeak
mistake.
is, Ben.
You made a basic mistake about world history.
Humility,
Okay, sure.
Connor. Humility.
No,
Something
okay.
you and the Israelis could use a dose of.
Wait a second.
Contend
So
with what I
you
said.
think the Vietnam War was a good investment of 50? I would like my 50,000, mostly brothers, American brothers, to have not have gone there and have stayed here.
Let's
in
bring
America
it full
and contributed
circle
to our
back.
culture.
Let's
You're
bring
in
it back
favor
to
of
the
the
topic.
Vietnam War
Hell
and
yeah.
the Iraq War? Are you
Yeah.
in favor of the invasion of Iraq, which killed 1 million Iraqis?
Yeah,
For
okay,
no
number
reason,
one, go to the
and just
Iraq
led
Body
to a
Count
worse
Project. It's
government
not
than
a
was
million
there before.
Iraqis.
Well, then I
Number
have
two,
nothing to say
go
to you.
talk to Iraqis now and ask them how they feel about it. Do you prefer living in this world right now, or do you prefer living under Saddam? And I guarantee you it's going to pull in the high 80s, high 90s.
All right.
They prefer the current
You
world.
guarantee
Let's
you
pull
know
back.
who
Hold on,
died in
Ben.
World War II?
Ben, you're pulling us all the way out to here. I'm so sorry. We have to bring it back to the topic. Looks like Dr. James is hanging out in the chat, so tag him Modern Day Debate and say hello. We do have quite a few super chats that are popping in here. It's been a wild panel, guys. Lots of passion on screen. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Let's see here. Yeah, definitely. Once again, hit the like button. We're gonna hand it over to Grace. Let's try to get back on subject.
I'm not sure if Connor actually cares about America or what Americans think. This whole debate is about whether America should cut off aid to Israel. As I already said, over 50% of Americans, generally speaking, are anti-Israel. 60% of my generation is anti-Israel. And the two wars that he just said were a great idea, the Iraq War and the Vietnam War, 61% of Americans think the Iraq War was a mistake, and 66% of Americans think the Vietnam War was a mistake. So I'm not sure Connor is really here to debate whether this is good for America or Americans or cares what Americans have to say. I think this is just about him and his ego and saying that we're going to fuck up the Arabs because fuck Muslims. Go ahead.
So I would argue that the Vietnam War was justified based off of it being a defensive police action for a mixed economy, capitalist, democratic government in Southeast Asia trying to resist communism. I think that's a moral fight. I also think that defeating communism multiple times in the field, but also defeating it commercially through the 80s was probably a moral imperative of the free world. So no, I'm actually proud that my uncles, because I do have uncles and a father who are Vietnam generation, I'm happy and proud that they were fighting communists all over the world. Okay. Now, when it comes to the Iraq War, I actually think the world probably would have been a better place if we had only invaded Afghanistan after the 9/11 terror attacks. However, I think that if you talk to modern Iraqis about the modern state of Iraq being liberated from Saddam Hussein, they're going to say, yeah, the 90s were fucked up. The sanctions were fucked up. They're going to say Saddam Hussein was a fucking monster. And they're going to say that the modern state of Iraq is better off than it was under Saddam. Or under ISIS, who are more jihadist assholes that we fucking wiped off the map. So yeah, I'm not going to apologize for fighting communists. I'm not going to apologize for fighting jihadists. And if you want to turn your tail, you want to tuck your tail and run away from the world, that's your fucking problem, not mine.
Just to tag along with that, I was looking up Iraqi body counts during the Iraq War, and it looks like it was actually between 186,000 and 210,000
Let's try not to go back
deaths.
there since we are getting back into our topic.
Just wanted to correct the record. Is
No
all.
worries.
Appreciate
Well,
you.
I think
there's civilian. It's
Hold on,
including
CounterPoints. We
civilian
gotta be fair
deaths
here.
from
the
same-
argument too there, though, the parallel argument is that like Israel unilaterally got us into Iraq, which is bullshit. We had our own interests there.
Well, were they?
Energy.
Okay, so do we now have energy from Iraq?
Yeah, they sell it on the open market.
Okay, so we had to go to war so that we could purchase energy from Iraq when we are a net exporter of energy.
Net exportation. I've already addressed this. That's only happened in the past decade with fracking.
I said we
and
are.
the stability
Present tense.
and the stability of the world market is still of interest to us, considering I already addressed this as well through unilateral, bilateral, and multilateral trade alliances. We are arguably responsible for $70 trillion of the world's $100 trillion economic activity. So guess what? The United States cannot solely provide the energy for the world. So yeah, it's still in our interest to be in the Red Sea. It's still in our interest to protect Saudi Arabia. It's still in our interest to protect Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Israel. Yes, it's still in our interest.
So think about when Russia invaded Ukraine, gas prices went up. Global instability causes markets to experience upheaval. Global stability, including in the Middle East, is a primary United States interest. That's one of the reasons to maintain the relationship with Israel.
Okay, so you guys basically believe, I think this is fine. I can't argue against this. You guys believe that the United States should be the emperor of the world, enforce economic hegemony and military action, and that the wars in Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, and keep going down the line were prudent actions. I don't know what to argue against that. I think anyone who
could have
believes
been
that's
imprudent,
true,
but
that
I'm not
combination of things is absolutely crazy. But like, hey,
we're not the only ones that benefit from that global stability, though.
But wait, Middle East stability, Garet, didn't Israel bomb Qatar like a little while ago when they were doing negotiations with Hamas in Israel and America? And didn't Bibi have to be forced to apologize by Trump to Qatar? Who's the one making it unstable? Our ally, dude. Yeah, every argument you make, the intelligence, stability, you've got to be kidding me. Israel is helpful to us on those levels?
Hence Connor's reference to the psycho ex-girlfriend being kind of okay when the situation calls for it.
The situation didn't call for it.
You guys have no sense of scale. Okay, this is the other thing. When we're talking about like Middle Eastern and North African military adventurism, the war on terror, while it did cost a healthy chunk of treasure, was actually like spit in the ocean in reference to blood. When it comes to Vietnam was infinitely more bloody, Korea was infinitely more bloody, World War II was infinitely more bloody, World War I was infinitely more bloody, and I'm talking about like factors of like 100. Okay, that's how much more bloody the world is. So you bringing up like a solitary terrorist attack 2 years ago and Israel's response to that terror attack being 60,000 dead. I think you guys, you got a PhD or a master's or whatever. Congratulations. You read some books. Awesome. I invite you to read more books.
Okay, so but you don't deny you think America should be emperor of the world. And enforce its military power. And can you let me talk? You talked for like 5 minutes straight, and we had a fucking rule here. But now you're just going to interrupt.
To be fair, there's been a lot.
Hold on, so go ahead.
There's been a lot of interruptions, but I want to hand you back the floor there, Ben. To be fair,
go ahead, Ben.
You did have. I think it's fair, like I said, for you to respond. But yeah, you guys have been just kind of. Intermingling your words a little, and that's fine because it's translating. I don't mind myself. Like I said, you guys are pretty passionate about the topic, but we can't.
We listened to like a 5-minute long speech from Connor.
Okay,
uninterrupted.
Let's hear your response.
So I get 30 seconds before he interrupts.
Hold up. Let's just do the response. He's on mute right now. Okay.
So I actually like I think that anyone who has your mentality is crazy. And you're as psychopathic as the Israelis. And I guess you're Americans and you can vote. But if you feel like your low self-esteem is going to be made up for by having military actions that you don't participate in, that my sons are going to die on the fields of in the Middle East, so that you can feel like you can say based about violence as a Christian, then I couldn't be more offended. But like, I have nothing to say.
Okay, that was 30 seconds by your choice, not by my choice. I participated in these, Ben. I have family who have participated in them. Both of my grandparents are World War II veterans. One served in the Pacific, one served in Europe. I have an uncle and a cousin who are both infantrymen. They both served in Afghanistan. I was a Marine. I served 4 years. I served in Iraq. And I served 4 years in law enforcement. So no, when I'm saying like, violence on behalf of liberal democratic republicanism is based, that's because not only am I a student of history, I've also seen these things fucking close up. And by the way, jihadism, fucking evil. Authoritarian communism, fucking evil. And I have no problems. Oh, slavery, fucking evil. I have no problems with Republicans or liberal Democrats who think that America is based shooting communists, jihadists, fascists. I would rather that we fight those kinds of people than let those people rule the world.
Let's get Grace back in here, everybody.
Yeah, let's have a war against 2.2
Hold
billion.
on, Ben. I just want to ask very kindly if we can get Grace in here. She hasn't said as much, to be fair, and had her hand up.
Thank you, Ryan.
Let's be fair.
You're so sweet. Okay, maybe we could take this in a different direction. Okay, so we sent $14.3 billion to Israel in 2024, obviously to help in their response to October 7th. Okay, let's just take that right there. That's our aid. That's a lot of aid. Do you defend the Israelis bombing Gaza and killing innocent civilians that they have crammed into an open concentration camp on the land they stole from those same innocent civilians? Do you really want to say that you want your American money going towards that? Forget the intelligence. Forget all that stuff. Forget the stuff about the Middle East. Let's just talk about what Israel is using that money for. I mean, how can you defend that? It's not a war. It's just oppression.
All right. Okay. So, Garet, if you ever want to interrupt me, go ahead. But I was going to say, no.
After you're done, I'll chime in.
Yeah,
for sure.
No, I want a two-state solution. I would be perfectly fine with 67 borders. I think that you would need two willing diplomatic partners in that effort. I don't think Hamas is a willing diplomatic partner, as evidenced of the past week. Also, when it comes to Israeli tactics, I am a critic of Israeli tactics. I think that if you actually look at the American battles in Hue City, if you look at the American battle in Fallujah, we actually did do a interesting amount of like tactics in order to reduce civilian casualties. And as a result, so you guys are arguing that it's effectively a 3-to-1 or a 2-to-1 civilian casualty to armed combatant ratio. American conflicts, we've gotten as low as a 1-to-1. So I would want Israel to change those tactics, but I'm also just an asshole with a webcam. So all I can really do is criticize the state of Israel while still generally supporting the existence of the Israeli state.
All right, let's get your thoughts there as well, Garet, when you're ready.
So I'm also in favor of a two-state solution, but unfortunately Netanyahu is not, as of 2023, I believe. I think I read about that today. And as
Most
far as
Israelis aren't either.
I mean, to me, a two-state solution makes sense. It would reduce the violence for sure. We can,
it's
of
a
course,
pipe dream.
All right,
it's
one
a
second there,
dream.
Grace. We're going to give Garet a chance to get his thoughts out too. Go ahead, Garet.
Thank you. We should absolutely criticize Netanyahu and Israel for the heinous actions that they've taken, but I still say that the benefits outweigh the negatives, like the positives outweigh the negatives. And I'd like to maybe this. I know this is a different topic, but 40 billion to what is Argentina? I mean, come on. Like that just seems excessive, right? So like if you're not okay with the 14 billion to Israel, then you shouldn't be okay with the 40 billion to Argentina. I would
Okay,
think.
but you just said we should criticize Netanyahu and Israel for their heinous
Yes.
activities. How about
Yes.
taking our money away from them? Let's start there.
Sure.
Let's not give them money anymore, and then you
I
can do all the
don't have a
criticism you want.
problem. I don't have a problem making the aid conditional upon their behavior.
Okay,
I
so you
don't
think we
have an issue
should
with
cut
that.
aid? You think we
No.
should cut aid because they're not
I
going to
didn't.
stop killing civilians?
I
So
didn't
you think
say
we should cut
aid.
aid?
No,
You think we should
I
cut aid
didn't.
under certain conditions? So you agree with our side. So Connor's the only one left. Let's see what you have to say, big boy.
No, that's not what I said. Because if you apply conditions to the aid, they will follow through on the condition.
Okay, buddy.
Oh my God.
That's worked for the
Okay.
past 2 years.
Okay. That's a good one. Can I ask another
Well,
follow-up?
has conditions been
Wait,
applied to
how
the
did they
aid
get BB
in the
to
last 2 years?
apologize?
All right.
Just a
How did they get
quick
BB?
Well, we've gone around the
Right.
whole
Does what it
panel.
wants to do.
Let's be
Like,
fair.
he's
How did
not
they get
immune
BB
to
to
criticism.
apologize?
Hold on there.
just a quick point.
I was gonna say
I would-
we're going around the panel, so let's let Ben in here as well, and we'll just
Just a
continue
quick
to bounce
point.
it.
Connor said, and I maybe he's got something. He said, if you went around in Iraq and you asked people whether they thought like the war that was waged against them that cost somewhere around 1 million lives, not necessarily in battle, but otherwise, they would, I think, say like, yeah, that was great. Now, I would just like to say, like, I believe that is a complete, you said high 80s to 90s would say yes. What is your basis for saying that?
Well, number one, that's not what I said. What I said was, if you asked Iraqis if modern Iraq was better off now than under Saddam, then you would probably pull in the high 80s.
Okay, so you're saying
different
that, like,
statement.
you're saying like with all what's gone on since Saddam Hussein, which is basically our intervention has been the main thing. Okay, high 80s, 90s. What is your basis for saying that?
Well, number one, 60 to 70% of the population is Shia, and they're automatically fucking ecstatic that motherfucker's gone because he's been oppressing them for generations. I think another 10 or 15% of the population are Kurds, who are also probably ecstatic. So we're already at 75% right there. Now, when it comes to Sunni
it's just
Muslims within Iraq,
making assumptions.
When it comes, well, I mean, I could Google it real quick. I could see if I could find some Pew Research.
Okay,
polling.
well, what would prevent
But
you
hold
from
on,
saying
hold on,
I think
hold
the
on. I'm not done
Palestinians
yet because I also
are
want to
high
bring up something
polling
else
at
that you're unaware
90%
of.
that they love
I want to
how
bring up
the
another thing.
Israelis have
I also want to bring up another
liberated
thing,
them from
which is that
Hamas.
the Sunni are split. Because obviously there's plenty of Sunni, because for those of you who don't know, Saddam Hussein was a Sunni Ba'athist. So the Sunni were largely the privileged ethno-religious group within Iraq. And so half of them probably made their bones on Saddam. They were probably, the people who executed Saddam's power. So they're probably not happy about Saddam being deposed.
But I'm not asking you what your speculation.
Therefore,
Okay,
we're probably in the 80s.
I just asked you for a simple answer to a question. On what basis? So it's just on your wild fabrications. Right?
No, it's
So
based
why
on the
wouldn't you-
ethno-religious descriptions that
why
I just
wouldn't
gave you
you-
of fucking Iraq, Ben.
Okay, what would prevent you from saying 90% of Palestinians are super enthusiastic about how the Israelis have liberated them from Hamas?
Because I have no basis to believe that, whereas I do have a basis that I just
I'm sure
explained
you
to
could
10
say that-
seconds ago, Ben. Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean I didn't
make stuff
explain it.
up. I mean, that's all that Hezbollah is.
No,
Like,
no,
add more
no.
of
Ben,
this made up stuff.
Ben, I need you to listen
Tell
to
me
this
about
because I
beheaded
really want you to
babies,
understand
babies
how
in ovens.
dumb
Like,
you are.
it's
Hold on,
just
hold on.
made up
Ben,
You
bullshit.
understand?
Ben, 1 second, please. Let's let
You
counterpoints in.
understand, because I've explained this, so you not understanding it is not my problem, okay? So Saddam Hussein was Sunni, okay? That's an ethno-religious group within Iraq. 60% of the population is a group that was oppressed. Another 10 to 15% was a group that was oppressed. Now, I'm going to go ahead and count that as like probably 80 to 90% of those motherfuckers are happy that dude's dead. They're probably ecstatic. But what I also said is that the Sunni themselves are split because the Sunni profited from Saddam's reign, but also large swaths of the Sunni did not profit from his reign. So if you don't understand that because you're saying I'm pulling it from my ass, that's not my fault. I've explained it. You just don't understand.
You're pulling it from your ass. That's all I'm saying. You have no actual research other than what you find in your ass. Yes.
That's not my ass. That's understanding ethno-religious
I do think
demographics
that
of
your
a country
brain is
in a different,
located
on a
in
different
your
part of the world.
rectum. Yes.
Okay.
No, you just don't understand
Not that we're
words.
not
That's my
riding
problem.
on the highbrow of conversation here, guys. But once
I
again,
think you are a shithead. Yeah.
You want to talk about? Wait, can I jump in? You want to talk about
Technical level.
You want to
I
talk
can't
about percentages?
I'm going to pretend that you're talking
Okay.
to me, and we're going to just carry on and try not to get too distracted by all the fireworks. All right, go ahead, Grace.
There-
Very, very passionate.
Garet and Connor, do you guys think that ethnically cleansing Gaza, you said you're in favor of a two-state solution, so I assume you're against the ethnic cleansing of the Gazans? Is that right? Would that be a fair thing to say?
Correct. I'm against ethnic cleansing of Gaza, which, by the way, is why I'm against Trump, but continue.
Okay, Garet, would you agree you're against ethnic cleansing?
Yes, correct. Which I'm also against Trump. So
would it interest you to
sense.
know that Haaretz, one of Israel's oldest newspapers, reported that 82% of Israelis are for the ethnic cleansing of Gaza? The Israelis that occupy the country that you want to send our money to? Are you sure you don't want to reconsider your position based on what you just told me?
Why would I? Okay, and is this after October 7th, 2023?
Yes.
Yeah, that makes a fuckload of sense. Imagine that Al-Qaeda lived in New York.
But you don't support ethnic cleansing.
Imagine Al-Qaeda lived in Rhode Island.
You don't support ethnic cleansing. And yet you want to send money to people who do.
Grace, this is great. No, Connor is right. According to his theory, we should ethnically cleanse the blacks from the United States too, right? It's the same logic. They cause a lot of problems.
Ableist slurs because
unbelievable.
Ethnic people don't like it when I use ableist slurs, but Ben, this is legitimately some of the dumbest argumentation I've ever encountered, and I've argued with Admiral Gibbs. This is bad.
Ethnic cleansing is fantastic.
Yeah, but they both just said it's not fantastic. They don't back
support
what Israel itself is doing.
No,
shit. We said
now you're
the
putting
Israeli
words in our mouth.
Fucked up shit.
I asked you if you support ethnic cleansing, and you said no. I asked you if you support ethnic cleansing, and you said no. And then I made the point that the population of the country you want to send money to supports ethnic cleansing. How do you get out of that one?
Those aren't contradictory statements.
You want to send money to people who are doing something you don't support? Is that your stance?
There's plenty of fucking countries that do shit that we don't support. We have good relations with the Saudis. You think I support the Saudi regime?
Okay, so you want to send money to a country with 82% of the population supports a morally heinous act that is against international law. Is that your position, Connor?
Sure, but I think that you don't understand contradiction.
I think I just won.
Let him finish.
I don't think you understand what contradictory means.
You have a contradictory position, which means you lost.
It isn't contradictory.
No, it's perfectly consistent, Grace. You don't understand.
I'm going to explain this to you guys because it's actually mind-blowing that you don't understand it already. So within the realm of geopolitics, do you guys know that we logistically and financially supported Russia during World War II?
Yes, you didn't know that.
No, I know that. Thanks, Ben.
You said we fought World War II against communism.
You're still taking them to speak that I don't even know if I did, and you're sticking it up your own.
No,
ass. That's not my problem.
No.
All right, hold on.
So
just to be fair, he's saying that. Hold on.
The
He's
reason why
saying
I'm
if he
bringing
said
this
that
up,
it was a misspoke.
I'll go ahead and cut ahead to the chase, which is you can support people who are achieving geopolitical ends that help you while not fully supporting every single thing that they do. This should be obvious, but you're acting like you don't understand that.
Okay, hang on. I do understand that point. However, I believe that ethnic cleansing is a morally heinous act that is against international law, and therefore I think that should meet the standard of not supporting a country that's doing that.
But you are not.
And so do you, except uniquely in the case of Israel.
Garet and I have already made this argument multiple times that Israel is a relatively modern state, that it's a modern military power, that they have microchip technology that's phenomenal, that they are intelligence sharers with us within the Middle Eastern and North Africa. They help us play the game of power within the geopolitical realm. And we want to do aid that is contingent upon their behavior, but we don't want to cut them off completely because one of the giant geopolitical risks is that Israel says, oh, okay, you don't want to fuck with us anymore? Fuck you. We're going to go ahead and sell all of our intellectual property and all of our military property. We're going to go ahead and sell it to Russia and China. And guess what? Russia and China are still geopolitical rivals and enemies of the United States. That would be bad.
Okay. Sounds like
deal with that. That's like a perfectly cogent point.
Sounds like we might be here, I'll just
okay, let's start with the first thing you said. Israel is a modern country. What does that mean? How is that relevant? All countries are modern countries.
They are within
not
the
all
Middle East and North
countries
Africa.
are.
Not all countries are modern countries. They don't exist in the year 2025.
Well, they do, but do all countries
There are.
have
Tell me what
access.
the
Take it,
ancient
Garrett. I gotta
countries
look
are.
something up real quick.
Tell me about the ancient countries. Is the Babylonian Empire somewhere that I didn't?
Wait, hold on.
Of?
You're being so obtuse, it's borderline laughable. Do you think Pakistan and Afghanistan are what I would consider modern countries? Can you steel man what I'm saying?
I don't know what you mean by modern countries, but I don't
Okay,
understand
what
why
I mean
it would
is that there's
why it
some
would
countries,
be relevant.
No, I'll explain it to you. So there's some countries that whenever a woman is accused of adultery, they're not even proven to have committed adultery, they bury the woman up to their fucking hands, so basically their hips, but they also bury their hands at the same time, and then they take rocks and they throw it at her head until she's dead.
Right,
I
get
would
it.
view that as a barbaric
part of Hasbara is
culture.
Islamophobia. Yeah,
Whereas
Islamophobia, they throw
And
the
Israel is a
Not even
country that
including
and
that.
Israel is a country that kills
We get it.
children who go to aid sites looking for food, which is also barbaric, Connor.
But they
That's
do it with
incredibly
modern
barbaric.
weapons.
We do it
So
with
they're
modern
cool.
weapons. So how
They're
could I
cool
forget?
guys because
They're a
cool
modern
guy,
nation that does it with
loser
modern
Connor
weapons, so it's not
is
barbaric.
like, well, they
Okay,
have Apache
I think
attack
you guys
helicopters,
are
so they're
being
cool.
obtuse, and worse yet, I think you know you're being obtuse.
Agreed.
It's not
Are there
obtuse,
countries
that's
that don't
fact.
have
That
clean running
happened.
water? Are there countries that don't have clean running water?
There are not entire countries, but there are places in countries, yes.
Okay.
Including
Wouldn't that
parts of
be
America.
Right.
Okay,
But-
so is America a modern country? And what
Well,
the
yes,
hell
of
point
course.
is there of saying it's a modern country? What is the point? How is that relevant?
It's
Hold
a factor
on.
that's taken into consideration. And
NATO
Connor
chips.
is
They have
looking
NATO
something up, so give
chips.
him a chance to do that.
Okay, I'm
what is the
unmuting
point?
myself to answer the question. How is a modern country relevant to the point? It's based off of who we choose to be allies with and how much we choose to align ourselves with them.
What does being modern have anything to do with that?
Because I think it takes a certain amount of cultural competency in order to run logistics, complex supply chains, entrepreneurialism, small business, free markets. I think it takes a certain amount of complexity in order to do that. So we should so as an example, our aid to Israel will be different than our aid to Afghanistan. And with Afghanistan, we were trying to get them up to a level of cultural and socioeconomic development. So
I see what you're
to
doing.
be their ally, but they failed that standard, and so we withdrew. Whereas
Okay.
with Ukraine and with Israel, they meet that threshold. Therefore, we're interested in being their partner and their
You're
ally.
just
It's actually fairly
masquerading
straightforward.
racism. You're just masquerading racism. What continent is the most
Why
allied?
would
according
you
to,
give
No,
a
let me
fuck?
ask you a question. What continent on the planet Earth is the most modern?
I would say probably Europe, the United States,
Okay,
and East
Europe.
Asia.
The United States is not a continent, okay? Try reading a book, not on TikTok.
Okay, North
continent-
America.
You can say North
Wait,
America,
which
then. You
continent
can
is-
include
wait,
Canada.
Asia.
Which continent is the least? Which continent is the least modern?
I would probably say Africa.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's masquerading racism.
That
wanna
is
build a
true.
garden,
That
you
is
think-
true.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I have to
Fucking
understand
asshole.
how stupid you like how you think this is a
You're
dump.
just
So
masquerading
hold on.
racism.
You think because I think that a continent is less technologically developed and less like culturally, socioeconomically developed, that necessarily means that I don't believe in the moral worth of the people from that continent.
Yes.
Okay, I think you're an idiot and you don't know what words mean, but that's fine.
That's
I've been
completely
learning that the
absurd.
entire debate, so
That's
fine.
what you've been sneaking in the entire time. You're
Who
a racist.
cares?
And that's
Then
all that
how is
Zionism
that relevant to my
All
arguments?
that
Even if I
Zionism
was
is saying
racist,
Ashkenazi,
even if I was
European
racist, who would give a shit?
population can wipe out just like all the colonial projects before, including this country.
Nobody
We wipe
said
out
that.
the
You're
brown
just making
people,
shit up.
and then we say, well, they're our allies because they're modern. Right. It's just sneaking in.
it's
You
one
just
of the
listed
reasons.
one
obvious
factor
racism.
when
And
Connor listed a whole
Islamophobia is
bunch
part
of
it.
different factors. So what you're saying just doesn't make any sense. This
It
is so
doesn't. Racism
this is an
doesn't make
absurd
sense.
line of
I agree.
argumentation.
Racism does not make sense. Let's end racism. We ended it in South Africa. Let's end it in Israel. And let's, at the very least, no longer participate in it. How about that?
So just to pull it back full circle
Oh
here,
my God.
is your argument exactly that you think CounterPoints, holds racist values, and therefore that is why he supports Israel and the funding for
Yes.
Israel.
Yes.
All right, let's make that quick little argument. I know it's a little bit of sounds kind of character assassin-y, but you can make the argument and at least let counterpoints respond to.
Sure. Can I make briefly the argument?
If that's the
Zionism-
argument
I thought you already did.
I mean,
Okay.
it
Go
wasn't
ahead.
tied
IDF
directly into the
takes-
topic.
IDF
It's
takes
just
the floor.
it's
Go
very
ahead.
out to here. If you want to try to frame how that would work here, go ahead.
I'm not sure. Am I
well,
allowed to talk
yeah,
or
go
no?
ahead.
Okay.
Well, I mean, honestly, yeah. If you got it, then let's
I'm going to do
hear
like
it
a
there.
20-second version of this.
Okay.
Go for it.
Okay. Zionism is a European project, like a lot of other projects in the 19th century, where European people invaded other lands and displaced those people. From the very beginning, Zionism had in mind what they called transfers of the population, which is just a euphemism for ethnic cleansing. Now, why did those people deserve to have Europeans land on them when they had done nothing wrong whatsoever towards these people and be displaced and now repeatedly ethnically cleansed? It's the only justification possible is racism. They're not Europeans.
Okay. Yeah, that I think number one, regardless of whether or not I was racist, would actually have very little to do with the arguments that I make. Number two, this is also an argument from almost complete ignorance. So Ashkenazi, some level of Ashkenazi, are 70% of the population of Israel, but 33% are Maghrebi or Mizrahi, and like an additional like 10 or 15% are also. I'd have to think of the term. I could Google it in a minute, but I'm still Googling the Iraq war polling. But effectively, like. Probably a third.
How's it going? How's the polling going?
A third. It's going okay. So
Yeah.
a third
I haven't heard you say
of
anything.
the Jewish population is already from the Middle East or North Africa or the Mediterranean. And then not only that, 20% of the population of the state of Israel is Arab Muslim. So again, so if we're looking at almost half of the population is some swarthy brown mix, then I think just appealing to like racism is kind of fucking
Okay, so
silly.
you don't think the leadership class historically from the very beginning of the Zionist movement is Ashkenazi and that every single prime minister has been Ashkenazi?
That's a different argument. The argument
elites-
is the 19th
So whose idea
century-
was it to do this? The Ashkenazi.
Okay,
European.
that
And
changes
they got
almost
their-
nothing of what I
and they
said.
got their ideas from Central European romantic nationalism, which they were also
Okay.
victims of. Absolutely, it can be clearly shown.
Are you like an aggressive civic nationalist? Are you and by the way, like I'm a civic nationalist too, but are you like a paperwork nationalist, meaning that if somebody buys into like the ideals of a society, then they should be willing and able to be an equal citizen within that society?
I don't really know what your question is.
I'm asking you if you're an ethno-nationalist or a civic nationalist.
Okay, I'm a Catholic. I don't know what you mean. Like I'm not an
okay,
ethno-nationalist.
Okay.
But if I was in Norway,
So if you had to
choose,
choose, if you had to choose between two societies to live in, okay, one society, let's just say they're all European. They're all Northern Europeans, okay, and that is like the social foundation upon which the society is built. Is we all share some.
I know what an ethno-state is. My people are from Norway.
Okay. So what I'm asking you is, would you prefer that? Or would you prefer a project like the United States where we say you can be African, Hispanic, Asian, white, whatever. We don't give a fuck as long as you buy into certain principles that we all hold dear as Americans. Which one do you prefer? That's what I'm asking.
I'm an American.
Second one. So the second one.
You said you
But
are
if
an American.
I was from Norway, I'm sure
I
would
was
say
asking
love
which one you
Norway.
prefer.
I think they both have like positives and negatives. I don't know.
So why the fuck are you moral frogging if Israel even was an ethno state, which I don't concede? Why
It
the
absolutely
fuck are you moral
is.
frogging about it?
Why don't they incorporate? Here's one for both you guys. I just have a question.
Wait, hold on. You just moral frogged
hold on
about
one
them
second.
being an
One
ethno
second.
state, and then when I
Just one
asked
second.
you if you had a
One
preference
second.
about ethno states or civic nationalism, you were like, "Oh, I don't have any preference." So why the fuck are you moral frogging?
I don't know. What are you saying? If I have a black wife, then I'm not a racist. If I have a white wife, I'm a racist. Like,
No,
isn't
I'm
that
just
what basically
saying you
you're saying?
indicted
If I prefer to
Israel as
live
a fucking
around,
ethno state, and when I asked you which one do you prefer, you had no moral preference.
I believe racist states like Nazi Germany and the state of Israel are horrendous, and South Africa are horrendous.
Okay, I don't think you understand my question, but that's okay. That's fine.
But if there happened to be, if I'm in the state of Vermont, which happens to be almost basically an ethno state, I would probably love the state of Vermont. I don't really know what you're saying, but listen, I lost.
I
my
thought his
point.
question was pretty clear.
Oh, here's my question for you two guys.
Oh my
Right.
gosh.
Leave aside all of
Ben,
your
hold on,
books and
hold
your
on.
TikToks.
I think
just one simple question.
Hold on, Ben. You can hold your question for 1 second. I think we all of our panelists kind of established that there's a question that they've asked, and I think maybe we may have missed it. So maybe before we move on to your question, if you can hold on to it, we
Sure.
can maybe wrap this one up. And like I say, sometimes on Modern Day Debate, you know, the expectation is you're not going to agree. Sometimes people just don't have an opinion, so you know, sometimes we just have to move on. But I'm going to give the floor back to CounterPoints to reframe the question, or Garet, if you want to give it a crack, you go ahead, and then we'll let you respond.
But it seems like you know what the difference between an ethno-state is and a state based on civic nationalism. What's your preference between the two? I think it's pretty simple.
There are countries that are aware, like self-reflectively ethno-states. Like they say we are an ethno-state, and then there are regions that just happen to be ethnically homogenous. Those are two very different things. Norway is largely ethnically homogenous. It is not an ethno-state in the sense of the state of Israel. So what is better or worse? I think they both have
what is your
negative.
What is your preference? You live in the United States, you're an American. This is not,
I used to live.
This is a culturally diverse country.
If you guys want to argue for ethno-states,
we're not arguing for
ethno-states. I think that's consistent with your racism. Yes. White power, right, guys? Am I right?
No.
Oh, okay.
We're not arguing for ethno-states.
All right,
like this is pretty fucking simple.
Let's just try to move on. So I know you have your own question there, but just to try to make it simple, and then let you ask your question that you had before there, Ben. Basically, all they're saying is, you know, would you prefer to be, you know, in an area like the United States, or you know, where there's a celebration of diversity, differences, that sort of thing, or would you prefer to be somewhere, you know, where you're very much have to toe the line and, you know, be a part of some sort of like say North Korea, I think is kind of maybe a good example. What would you prefer?
I love where I live. I think that's a natural thing.
Okay, I think we got our answer there. So let's ask your question and move on.
So you do not prefer an ethno-state. Got it.
Dad, your question was for them something
real simple question, guys.
Incorporate.
Like, just leave aside history and all of the Hasbara talking points that have been drilled into your head for some reason. If I was to say to you, what do you think about this as an idea, guys? From the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea, we have a population, a nation where everyone has equal rights. What do you think about that, guys?
No, I'm a two-stater.
So your response to that is no. Garet, would you give it a shot?
Two-stater.
Okay, so your answer is no. Does that appeal to you in any way as kind of like that seems kind of like the obvious thing to do here? No? Why not?
Not unless there's like a complete unless there's like a complete and total cultural change in reference to the way that Palestinians perceive Jews and vice versa. No, I'm not interested in that.
Okay,
yeah,
so
I don't see how that would work.
Okay, so can I give you an example? This one is almost an exact same example. Do you realize that there was a nation which in the 70s and the 80s had very similar ethnic things as to Israel? And what they did, and everyone said, nope, we can't live together. You know what that nation was, guys? I know you've read a lot of books, Connor. Can you tell me what that nation was?
South Africa. I'll have a follow-up question when you're done.
That's right. So was what happened in South Africa something which should happen in the region we call Israel and Palestine? And if so, if not, why not?
So So hold on. I got a question for you. The ANC, the African National Congress, were declared communists and terrorists by the central South African government, and they were like hunted and killed for the better part of a decade. Do you know how many people the ANC killed over the course of a decade of terrorist operations?
No, I don't know the number.
Okay,
but
it was 176. Do you know how many people died on October 7, 2023?
I know how many people died, but I don't know how they died. But it's something around 1,100 to 1,200.
Right. So 900 civilians, 300 IDF personnel were killed on October 7, 2023.
By
So
a
that means
combination
that
of Israeli and
in a
Palestinian forces.
single day, Hamas beat the ANC's operations of a decade. So no, I'm not going to pretend that these situations are the same.
Okay. Did the white South Africans force the black South Africans to live in an open air prison for 70 years, denying them
See, this is
human
another
rights
thing that
and
like
occasionally
Palestinian
mowing the lawn?
apologists. This is another thing that
Yeah, I'm
Palestinian
Hamas,
apologists need to
right?
get.
I'm Hamas. I'm anti-Semitic. I'm Nazi, and I work for Hamas. Okay.
I didn't even fucking say
get it.
that. I
Yep,
think
yep,
you're.
yep.
I don't think you're any of those things. You're kind of a spurg. So, the thing about it is it an open air prison? But then we also hear, or we also see, this is what Gaza was before the war, and they got hotels and air conditioning and water and TVs and PS5s and all this bullshit. So which one was it? What was Palestine?
So you can't have a
a
PS5 in an open
fucking
air prison?
paradise before the war, or was it an open air prison? Because you got to pick one and continue to argue it.
Okay, so you think the choice is between saying that a territory which is completely decimated, 90% of the buildings are bombed to smithereens, and everyone is dying of starvation and dehydration, and saying
That's
like
not my
it could be
criticism. My
better while
criticism
still
is
not
of you
being
saying
great.
it's an open air prison prior to October 7, 2023. That's my criticism.
Well, if a foreign country controlled the air, the sea, and all trade coming into the United States, would you say that that's a free society and demilitarized and also invaded occasionally? Would you say that
No,
that's
but weirdly
free
enough, I
country?
wouldn't be into shooting women and children and cutting their heads off and all that bullshit. So, weirdly
Oh yeah, the
enough,
beheaded babies. Let's do that one. Right. Okay. How many beheaded babies was it? How many beheaded babies?
But if they shot them, is that better, Ben?
How many beheaded babies were there?
I don't.
Let's do the
give a shit,
idea
because
Hasbara.
obviously the initial reporting
Zero,
was like
you
50
moron.
beheaded.
Zero. You know it's zero.
Okay,
There was
hold
one
on.
child
But
shot
are you
through a
arguing
door.
because
There was
900
one child shot
of the
through a
people killed
door.
on October 7, 2023 were absolutely civilians? So are you arguing that because they didn't defile the corpses after they had killed them, that shooting a baby is okay?
No, I'm saying you're a liar.
You
You're a
said
liar.
beheadings.
That has
You
nothing-
said beheadings.
No one was beheaded.
No one was beheaded. On Twitter, I literally watched a Malaysian foreign worker who happened to be in Israel get his head chopped off with an implement. I also watched another video in which Hamas fighters gunned down a man and his daughter at a bus stop, and then half the Hamas fighters ran off, and one guy stayed behind just so he could decapitate the corpse. So yeah, I've seen beheadings. Have you not?
I don't watch beheadings. No, I don't.
Oh, well, isn't that convenient to freak out about me saying the word beheadings, but you just don't
Were there
look at the
babies cooked
evidence?
in
That's
ovens?
fucking
Were there
amazing.
babies cooked in ovens?
I have no fucking idea, Ben.
Well, come
But
on,
at
you
the
gotta
same
get your
time,
Hasbara right.
Did
You gotta
900?
get
Let
your
me ask you a
Hasbara right.
counter question. Did 900 civilians get killed on October 7, 2023?
I think that's accurate, but there's no accounting
Okay.
for who killed them. Some of them were killed by the Hannibal Directive.
Oh man, my chat has been predicting you saying the Hannibal Directive for like 45 minutes. So that's
Your chat is
impressive.
super smart, buddy.
I think they're quite perceptive.
Yes.
I agree with you there.
That's
I agree with you.
fantastic.
I do have a
And I might have used the
disproportionately
word Hamas
intelligent
too.
chat.
Hey, chat. Hey, Connor's chat. Do you think I might say the word genocide or ethnic cleansing? They might say it for 45 or 50 minutes in a row. Congratulations, buddy.
Yeah.
Sounds like an accurate prediction.
Racism, yeah.
All right. So
All these words might come up. Your chat is something.
all right, one second there, Ben. So unless there was another avenue that we wanted to go down, this might be a good time to maybe get into the audience questions. So if you guys did want to, like I say, go down another path, if there's something we didn't get to unpack yet, I don't want to be unfair, but there is going to be opportunity to do some more unpacking, of course, in the Q&A. I usually like to let it go and treat it like a bit of an open panel if we have the time. So hopefully all of our speakers aren't too constrained tonight. So
I love it. Love it.
yeah, it looks like everybody's good for that. So we are going to jump into our Q&A shortly here. I'm going to remind everybody, though, because I've been a bit of a bad host in a way. We are live right now, so if you haven't already, hit the like button. But also, I want to remind everybody that we do have tickets linked in the description for DebateCon 6. So if you didn't see the big poster next to me here, DebateCon 6 is going to be in Nashville, Tennessee, November 15th and 16th. So that's Saturday and Sunday. So we have a discount right now on the tickets for the early registration. So check out the link in the description below. We also have a crowdfund. If you go there and you participate in our crowdfund, you can get some perks like a signed photo with your favorite debater. So yeah, definitely check out some of those perks. It would be a lot of fun to see you guys out there and get to see some of your favorite speakers. So let's jump into the Q&A. Big round of virtual applause to the panel here. You guys had a lot of passion, and like I said, it's been a lot of fun hosting you guys. Hopefully you all felt like you had a fair shot to make your point. So
Absolutely.
excellent.
Yeah, it was fun.
All right, no worries. And well, hopefully we can hear a little bit more from you as well, Garet, there. I know that you handed the floor over to Connor a few times, but yeah, Connor was bringing that fire there as well, and so was Ben, so we let him have it. It was a lot of fun. Even Lord...
I certainly enjoyed that too.
I think I could tell. So even Lord with the first question says, CounterPoints shut down my Wi-Fi. Ooh, he's a Wi-Fi assassin. When we talked on the same Rage Tomato panel using his kosher satellite network. Just joking. Good luck to the Thorp clan. All right.
Listen,
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's one of the advantages when you're friends with Jews. They help you cyber hack other people's shit.
I do hope you're getting paid for this, because otherwise it's just embarrassing.
Hopefully someone.
Not by Israel, but I'm getting paid.
Yeah, so hopefully somebody's getting paid. All right, Even Lord, thank you for your super chat. Even Lord follows up and says, supporting Israel is the greatest probability that an Assyrian state and a restored Greek Byzantine state will be established. So, yeah. Who would like to jump
No,
on that?
I was going to say one of the things that doesn't really line up with this line of argumentation of Israel is totally bad for the destabilization of the Middle East and North Africa is effectively what's happened within the past decade. And the person that I would actually give a little bit of credit to is Jared Kushner. Jared Kushner has been looking for win-win-wins in the Middle East and North Africa, which is why I think you didn't see Saudi Arabia, all the countries that I listed earlier. The reason why they haven't taken a massive shit on Israel is because they're hoping that there's some win-win-wins that can be dragged out of this bullshit.
All right, any thoughts on the other side of the panel?
I think things that have been going fantastic in the Middle East. I love the endless warfare, and I hope my 4 sons die on the battlefields in the Middle East for no reason, because Connor has low self-esteem. I love it. I want IDF money too. Hand it over.
Okay. I think we'll just carry on with the super chats there, unless you also want to chime in there, Grace and Garet.
No, I think we can just move on to the next one.
No worries. We do want to hear from you guys as well. So, yeah, thank you so much, Even Lord. We appreciate the super chats. We're moving on now. So, Basil Problem says, Modern Day Debate is confused because he's not sure where his Christian nationalist funders fall on this debate. That's quite the thing to say there. I gotta pop my my headphone back in. I almost popped it out because the steam. You see, I'm holding it in, Basil. No, let's see. I did put up a poll earlier. Why don't we go check out the poll and see exactly where our audience is sitting right now. And then after I ask this next question, we'll put up another poll. So thanks again to everybody. We are reading your questions, and we're also going to review the poll. So we have 443 votes right now in this poll, and I'm going to close it after I review them. So right now, we have 19% saying, so should the U.S. cut ties with Israel? 19% said we could do less, but stay involved. So a little less for Israel, but, kind of at arm's length. 19%. Should we cut ties with Israel entirely? 24% said no, and then 57% said yes, that the U.S. should cut ties with Israel. So that's where our audience is right now at Modern Day Debate. I'm going to close out the poll, and I'm going to put up one for our favorite speaker. Don't take it personally. It's usually based on who's hanging out.
Yeah.
We're just doing this for fun. As far as the polls go, just to, do something for our audience, because I'm kind of like that. All right, back to questions. We're going to read your questions, guys. So in Liberty, his name is too long. I don't think I can. I gotta change my YouTube right quick. I gotta change my format just so I can read this name that's way too long. 1 second. What's the point of putting in a super chat if you can't get your name read out loud, right? This super chatter says, right? That'd be really boring. Sorry, guys. In liberty and guns, we trust. All right, got your name. Thanks for your super chat and sorry for the wait. CounterPoints is no different than Hamas, ISIS, IDF, etc. He's a terrorist of a different flavor, with no lower bound to evil he supports. He's willing to throw out all morality and Jesus' teachings. This is This is right at
He
you.
doesn't even get paid.
Hold on.
He does it for free.
He does it for free.
Just
He's a whore
hold
for
on.
free.
So in liberty and guns we trust. Do you know this super chatter CounterPoints? They're coming right at you.
I don't. I don't know if it's sarcastic. Also, I'm not really doing it for free. I got like a dozen super chats on my end, so I'm not exactly complaining too much.
But you ain't getting no $7,000 a post now, are you?
7,000.
He's working towards it.
No,
He's
I'm
working
not there
towards it.
yet.
His handlers are.
Actually,
anyways.
I think you did too bad of a job to get the gig. So
All right.
Well,
Let's
hold on.
move
I want to address the heart of the matter, which is I would throw out all of my values in order to affect my worldview. No, my worldview is the same. Well, not the same, but I would say it's a fulfillment of the dream of the founding fathers. You know, a country that's governed of, for, and by the people, elected representatives, balance of power, a republic rather than a monarchy or a dictatorship. As such, I swore an oath twice, both as a law enforcement officer and as a Marine. And I said that I would be willing to fight and die for the Republic. So everybody who's ever sworn that oath, they have my love and my thanks. And I don't care that they successfully fought fascists. I don't care that they successfully fought communists. And I don't care that while jihadism has never really been stomped out fully, I don't think there's been a single battle that American forces have lost to jihadist forces. I think we've kicked the shit out of them every single time they showed up on the battlefield. So no, I'm not going to apologize for that. Or I'm not going to apologize for that.
9/11 was a big win. I loved it. Yes.
Okay, well, $70 trillion of economic activity every single year, Ben. The reason why you got Funko Pops is because
Team
of
America.
the world economic empire.
Yeah.
Yes, unironically, America, fuck yeah.
Yep. And it's so interesting that you quote that the people should rule themselves, and yet in the same, like in another breath, you'll say we should rule the entire world and be the police of the world. No contradiction there.
No, I'm a Republican.
perfect.
I think that the demos, I think the people inside the United States are too stupid to
run
know
the
what's
world.
good for the globe. And I think that republicanism is a universal good that should be spread worldwide.
Team America, fuck yeah. No thanks, dude.
Literally, I would actually invite you and the chat to listen to the speech at the end of Team America.
All right. Next one coming in from Even Lord 7825.
Fuck yourself.
All right.
Spicy.
Oh boy, yeah. You're threatening him with a good time. All right. Let's see here.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Are you okay? You just didn't like the way I framed it. That's what happened. You were like, no, we gotta pull out. All right. All right. A major mistake the West did was let South Africa, Rhodesia, and the Shah of Iran fall. We should not make the same mistake with Israel. Rare Connor win.
Okay.
Right? So not
great.
a usual
I'd love
fan,
for them
but
to say. I'd love to hear their view of that. Do you agree, guys?
Oh, what for me?
So a major mistake the West did was let South
Rhodesia,
Africa and all these, the Shah of Iran fall.
Yeah, I think that the boycotting of South Africa and Rhodesia probably has had some disastrous effects in South Africa. I think that what would have been better is unironically leverage against South Africa and Rhodesia in order to become better societies. For those of you who don't know, Zimbabwe is the country that succeeded Rhodesia, and they've been pretty fucked up ever since. And then same thing with Israel. I wouldn't let Israel fail. I would use leverage to make them a better country. That's what I think.
Perfect. You're pro-apartheid. Garet?
No, that's not what I said, Ben.
Garet, your thoughts?
My thoughts are I would like for you to actually steelman his arguments instead of just throwing them into the shitter and seeing what pops out.
Steelman his arguments? Okay.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Did you hear me say that I actually loved apartheid, or did you hear me say something different?
Well, the sanctions against Rhodesia and South Africa were intended to break their apartheid states.
And it also destroyed the state of Rhodesia, allowed Mugabe to seize power. Then Mugabe, through socialistic central planning, fucked up the entire country, fucked up their agricultural sector, and arguably got tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people killed. So,
okay, so
what
you
I
think
would
the
have
West
liked,
should have sent billions of dollars to prop up Rhodesia and
they
South
should have
Africa?
used any aid sent to Rhodesia or South Africa
Including
in order
military
to
means.
leverage them
Including
into a
military
better
means.
society that didn't have segregation.
I agree. Rhodesia and South Africa are child's play compared to what is going on in Israel. Absolutely. Child's
Okay,
play.
but is that the same as saying
you defend
I
Israel-
love segregation? What is
if
that?
you
What you
defend
heard?
Israel, I'm sure you defend also the dropping of nuclear weapons on civilian cities in Japan, right?
Yep.
Fantastic. Good stuff. More yellow people, right? The more the better. Wipe them out. Even though the war was on the brink of being resolved by the Japanese. Yes, I agree. They're not modern enough. They're not white enough, really. Let's just be honest, Connor.
Modernism wasn't their problem. It was a different one. But we can say that.
Yeah, they're
topic for
yellow.
another
They're
night.
yellow. They're not white. Yes, I get it.
Okay.
Garet, your thoughts on the nuclear annihilation of Japan for no reason at the end of World War II? Pro or thumbs up, way up, like Connor, or maybe?
Well, the targets were selected for military reasons, right?
Not true.
Not for.
That's a lie.
Okay.
They were selected to cause maximum civilian casualties.
Sorry, I left
Then
that
why
on.
didn't they hit Tokyo?
I don't know exactly why, but like they.
Oh,
the
because you were
intentions-
wrong. Because what you just said was wrong.
It may be that
And I
the air
think
defense. I don't know
I
the
think
details.
Garrett knew you
So-
were wrong, and he just stopped talking.
So the
because he knew
firebombing
how
of
wrong
Dresden.
you were.
There's always gonna be
Sometimes
some
it's better
military-
to not say anything and let your opponent just run their mouth.
Well, if that's your strategy, you're doing a great job. Sit back, act like you don't even know how to speak the English language, and then just support your.
Ben,
Well,
buddy,
it
over here.
seems like
30
Nagasaki
seconds
and
after
homicidal,
they didn't hit
psychopathic,
Tokyo because
It seems
they were
like
trying to
Nagasaki
maximize
and
civilian
Hiroshima
casualties. It would have been
were
Tokyo.
better
And the reason why you
military
didn't respond is
targets.
because you knew
Whereas
you were
if they
wrong.
wanted to
All right,
By
not
the
that
way,
this is not.
To Connor's point,
just the right amount of
Tokyo would be better
chaos.
target if they wanted to maximize civilian deaths.
All right, we're gonna ask the
Right?
next question.
That's why you didn't have a response
In
to
just a
that
second,
because
guys.
you knew you were wrong, Ben.
All right, let's ask. Let's see what Ben has to say to wrap this one up. But let's try to clean up the panel a little bit with the crosstalk.
The use of nuclear weapons against Hiroshima and Nagasaki had no military value and was intended both to show to the world that we could do the kind of things. I'm sure Connor, if he was there in the Enola Gay, would be having a huge erection about how powerful he finally was to wipe out old ladies, old men, babies. He loves it, right? But I think it's disgusting what we did. It was totally militarily unnecessary. This is commanders in the field will attest. They were negotiating the end of the war. They were ready to surrender. But we wanted to show the world by obliterating hundreds of thousands of non-white people. And
I
show
think
the
your
world
biggest strength
that
in debating
Connor,
is
we roll
prescribing
like Connor. We have
straw
a
man
big
positions
penis.
to your
Hold on, Ben.
opponents.
Let him talk. All right, go ahead, Gary.
I think that's your biggest strength. Aside prescribing
I would
straw
like to
man
donate
positions to
Connor's
your
penis
opponents.
enlargement fund because
All right.
perhaps he would like be able to finally act rationally.
All right, let's let Grace in here too, and then we'll ask that next question shortly, guys. We're just
Connor, sorry.
I
Connor, do
think
you
Connor
know?
deserves a response to after.
Do you know why they didn't bomb Tokyo? Do you know why?
Well, I mean, I would presume it's because they were already doing the firebombing, but you can give me your answer.
your mic's,
Yeah,
your mic's a
they're-
little bit hot. I'll just let you know. It's just a little.
Whose?
Yours, Grace. It's just a little
Oh.
bit. The
Just back it off.
Is that-
yeah, the
is that
preamp
better?
is a little loud. Yeah, if you
All
you
right.
could probably just back up a little. All right, go ahead.
I mean, like the bombs were intended as a demonstration, and over half of the city of Tokyo had been destroyed by firebombs, and 100,000 civilians were dead. So we wanted to show off our new toys. Bombing something we had already bombed to smithereens wouldn't really be effective now, would it?
So the point that I'm making is that I doubt Hiroshima and Nagasaki were the most densely populated civilian centers, and I could go ahead and take a look and see if there was any military target there. But
But
Ben,
my point is-
I'd like to finish. So one of
Sure, you
my
said that to
frustrations
many
with
ladies.
this is Ben has brought up, I have two boys, and I'm not going to tell them to join the military, but if they did, I would be proud. So Ben, you've appealed over and over and over again, like, don't send my boys to die, don't send my boys to die, don't send my boys to die. You've said
Right.
that probably half a dozen times.
Yes.
Well, the logic at the end of World War II was identical. We didn't have 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a day or an hour to allow Japan to waffle on whether or not they wanted to surrender, because American boys were dying every single second. And then not just that, but effectively, there was a attempted military coup weeks before, when the emperor said that he was going to surrender. The military said, no, we don't want to surrender. We want to keep fighting. We want the Americans to come. So the fact that you're just saying, oh, well, the presidents at the time, through the fog of war, they should have just known. They should have just known that it was going to end up where they were going to surrender. I think that it just cuts into your earlier appeals to your boys.
Okay, so do you believe that the use of nuclear weapons, which are considered weapons of mass destruction, which almost every nation has pledged to rid the human race of, actually makes sense in certain contexts? So you're pro.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in favor of the use of nuclear weapons in
Well,
In
you
cities.
even
certain
said in
contexts,
certain
yeah.
contexts.
I think you are in certain contexts.
No, I
If
am not.
aliens invaded the world and they were on the verge of genociding the
Not
human
nuclear
race, I think
weapons.
you would be okay
Let
with
me
the
add
use
to the
of
list.
nuclear
Not
weapons.
nuclear weapons, not biological weapons, not chemical weapons. And I stand with the entire world in saying that. They should be obliterated. And actually, all modern warfare should be ended in favor of political resolutions to problems. Modern warfare is too deadly and destructive. There is never a winner, always a loser. And the loser of this latest thing is going to be the state of Israel. I guarantee you, I would bet any amount of money, in 20 years, there will be no state of Israel. It is on a death spiral.
I don't think you're going to be alive in 20 years, but I'll take that bet. You want to do like $20 or like 100?
That'll
Sure.
be like a penny
20,
in 20 years.
2045, Ben Thorp and Connor, we have a $100 bet.
Sure.
And we could adjust it for inflation to whatever is equivalent, because hopefully the dollar is still worth something. 20 years from now, in 2045, what is it? No, October 19th, 2045, if the state of Israel does not exist, I will pay you $100 adjusted for inflation.
Why don't you just say $100?
Okay.
I mean, he was trying to be charitable, right?
Yeah, no, it's all good. All right, now this isn't one, but we're gonna ask the next question. Thanks everybody for the super chats. Keep them coming in, and we're gonna keep doing our best to answer them. So Turbo Jerko, I think I got the vibe going through the chat that they are against Israel. I just want to be sure here because they're very vague. Yeah, they were not allowed to leave. Yeah, so I'm just searching here just to be sure. Turbo Jerko says 60K plus, 85% are civilian according to Israel. I think they are talking about casualties potentially. They're saying 85% are civilian. I'm not sure. Turbo Jerko, maybe you could clarify in the live chat.
That's a stat that a friend of the channel, Doobie, has shared with me. Those are the people that they actually have like idents for. And what I mean by that is like they have their picture, their name, their biographical data, et cetera, et cetera. So the 14,000 or the 20,000 estimate is effectively like the people that they don't have bio data on, the 87% or the 13% or whatever. Those are the people that they're like 100%. We know this is a guy who works for / fights for Hamas.
Okay, Connor, how did the vast majority of people in Gaza die?
Probably aerial bombing, if I had to guess.
Okay, aerial bombs. So you send a U.S.-made plane with bombs to bomb an area, and then what happens to the plane?
The plane is fine and returns to base.
Okay, right. So where did they get? Where? At what point in that do they count up the number of whatever term you use? Idents. They don't. They're making it up.
Hold on. I don't think you know what you're arguing. The Israeli military, for the 87% stat, they're saying that they verified like 13% of the identities of the people. But that would be an argument to your side, saying that only 13% of the people killed in the conflict are military, like Hamas related people. But what I'm saying is that that's like a very myopic understanding of the data.
But how, by the way, how is your research going on how fantastically enthusiastic the Iraqis are about how their nation has been treated since the 1990s?
Well,
Is it
number one,
90%,
that's
like you
like the
said?
third time you've misrepresented what I said, but I don't think I give a shit anymore.
Better. You said
I
better.
found,
How much better it is.
I found stats that said that around 70% of the population basically thought they were the same or better off than under Saddam. So,
Okay.
All right, let's ask the
All
next
right.
question here. Not much of a question. Turbo Jerko says, moderator, be a man. Oh, I didn't want to have to do this on stream, guys. Oh my goodness. All right. All right, no, we're not doing that. Be a man. I'm not sure. Maybe Turbo Jerko wasn't too pleased with some of the chaos on the panel. I thought, like I say, well, there was a lot of fun. And luckily, and it's most important on my end, I could hear everybody. Even when you guys were interrupting each other, I could hear what everybody was saying. So, you know.
well, I pulled this up while we were yapping. So Hiroshima and Nagasaki, can I address why they were chosen?
Sure thing.
Were large, strategically important military and industrial cities that had not been heavily damaged by conventional bombing, allowing U.S. to effectively assess a new weapons destructive power. Hiroshima served as the headquarters of the Japanese Second Army and a major port, while Nagasaki was a key industrial and port city. So what I would say is that your guys' argument that they didn't have any military relevance and it was solely chosen to maximize civilian death, that's not borne out.
Of course, every city has relevance. A city is going to have industrial centers. I mean,
Do you think like Barstow is as militarily important as Miami?
I know I'm not familiar with Barstow.
Okay, I think you know the answer is no. I think you're being obtuse.
Okay, I guess I know Barstow.
I literally have
You're
no
right.
idea what Barstow is. I don't know.
That kind of goes to my point, don't you think?
Yes, we're
maybe
TikTok
Omaha.
people. We only learn
Do-
anything
do-
from TikTok.
do you think
I got a master's
Omaha,
degree in
Nebraska
TikTok. I have a
is as
master's in
strategically as
TikTokery.
important
You're
as New
such
York
a
City or
fucking
Miami?
smarmy asshole.
Well,
You're
it's
just
because
like
you're wrong
Destiny.
and I'm right.
You're just like
so-
Destiny. You're
Well,
just like Destiny.
not really. I'm 6'4",
Such an
but
obnoxious prick.
okay, hold on. So
Wait.
I'll ask the question again, though. Do you think Omaha, Nebraska is as militarily significant or commercially significant as New York, Miami, or San Diego, or Los Angeles?
Perhaps, I don't know.
I
There
think
could
you
be
know.
there could be nuclear arsenals there. I don't know.
Okay, I think you know.
But what is your point? So Barstow is Hiroshima and
The reason
New
that
York
we hit
is
those two
Tokyo. Yeah,
targets
we
is
already
'cause
hit
we hadn't-
Tokyo. We already went
we
over
hadn't
this.
hit them before, so we get to maximize our display of our racist and genocidal, although not technically in the sense of wiping out people, but genocidal use of this weapon, which was totally unnecessary. You love it. I can understand that.
It was
I
not
think
totally unnecessary. It was to push the Japanese into an unconditional surrender.
Totally unnecessarily that we could have done it without any use.
And not just that. You guys made an assertion which is incorrect, which was that they were solely chosen for their ability to maximize civilian casualties. However, as we just read, there were military and commercial reasons for why those cities were selected. We just read that.
But the
Just like
primary,
when,
well, whatever.
just
okay.
like when you were proven wrong about the polling in Iraq, you just hand wave it away.
I
Why
hope
don't you
when the
concede
nukes
that?
I hope when the nukes come, they land on Connor, so we can say that he's the big.
Why
asshole.
don't you concede?
I hope they
the
land
point?
right on his fucking head.
Why don't you concede both
Well-
of those points? You should.
Well,
He can
and
tell
here's
us.
the thing.
He can tell us how humane
I
it is.
will.
Because I
will
believe he should get
concede
targeted.
that Hiroshima and Nagasaki were not chosen purely for civilians, but I think that was the primary purpose. There
Well,
were
they
other
think it's
reasons as
fine to
well.
kill hundreds of thousands of civilians.
Well,
They think
and
it's
by the way,
fine.
I live in Central Florida, so I'm not very high up on the nuke list. So there's probably like 10 or 20 other cities that are going before I go.
All right, let us carry on.
Baller.
Basil Problem has had a real problem here at Modern Day Debate. We're not sure what the fascination is, but do you think James' PhD in psychology is a real PhD? Can you link to his thesis? I'm pretty sure that James had already responded to you way earlier, Basil, so you'll have to review the live chat and then do your own research. It won't hurt. Don't worry. You'll feel better afterwards, all right? Turbo Jerko sent in another $2. Thank you so much, Turbo Jerko. Reminder to our audience. Actually, before I remind the audience, I'm just going to reach out to the panel and say thanks again for answering all the questions and hanging out with us at Modern Day Debate. We got quite a few more questions to go, so if anybody wants to take a step out, if you need to use the restroom or grab yourself a drink, now would be a good time, and I can do just a little bit of housekeeping. So speak now or forever hold your pee.
I'll use the restroom. I'll be right back.
Yeah,
right.
same.
Excellent. No
I
worries.
appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. We're about halfway through.
Lightweights.
Oh, well.
Weak.
Well, we can't. Not all of us are used to the catheter, all right? All right. So let's see if I got any that are just for you guys, if I can. Yeah, I got one here if I run out of time. So, quick reminder to our audience, while everybody's just having a quick little intermission, just so that they're cozy and comfortable while we answer your questions. So keep those questions coming in, and we will get to them. And keep hanging out in the live chat and letting your thoughts be heard. We do like hearing from you guys, seeing you guys all engage with each other and debate. That's fun. During housekeeping, what's
Ryan,
going on?
Wait, quick question.
Yeah.
Are we going to give closing statements after the questions?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, just wondering.
No worries. Yeah, no, I usually do them at the end of the Q&A just because sometimes you get some more things out on the table. Sometimes some of the biggest firework moments happen during Q&A. So there's still time for all kinds of crazy shenanigans. So once again, if you're hanging out in the live chat, take a moment to smash the like button, help boost us up in the algorithm. Share this out in the spaces that you like having these discussions. It's been interesting for sure. But yeah, and then lastly, while we're trying to pad for time here for our speakers to come back, we have our tickets for DebateCon 6 linked in the live description right now. So if you head on over to the details of this YouTube video, you're going to see our events page there. You can purchase your tickets there for DebateCon 6. It's going to be in Nashville. That's on November 15th, 16th. Right now we have 2-day tickets starting at $239. We have early registration discount going on. So if you haven't already checked out the link, do check that for sure. And you can also help with our crowdfund. We appreciate that as well, in which case you can get other perks like a signed picture from the debaters that are going to be present at DebateCon or your favorite speaker. So without further ado, our panel is back, and we're going to keep asking your questions, so keep them coming in live chat. We appreciate you guys. Thank you once again for tuning into Modern Day Debate. All right, back to it. All right, so props to the Thorps for standing against genocide. That's from Duvid.
Oh, yeah, I know Duvid.
Thank you.
All right, so Duvid says, Ben, should the U.S. also cut ties with Duvid? All right.
I don't know what ties there are.
But
he shouldn't be on welfare now.
David, what does he know? All right, Dr. James Coons wrote, this is from Even Lord 7825. So for $10, they say Dr. James Coons wrote his doctorate paper from Austin State University. The paper is called The Effects of Mindful Meditation on Stress, Resilient, and Work Family School. Don't slander Dr. James' name. All right, Turbo Jerko says Ben is right. We're not sure what you write about, but Turbo Jerko was a fan at the time. So thanks for letting us know, Turbo Jerko. Caledonian Elixir 4702 says, what does Israel destroy? Desalination plants, wells, hospitals, IVF clinics, schools. That is not destroying Hamas, but rather civilian habitation. Allegations of genocide is not based on numbers alone. So I'll hand that over to you, CounterPoints or Garet.
Sorry.
Go ahead if you want to jump on that
one. Just unmuting myself.
No worries.
Yeah. I think that up until the 20-point peace plan, the case against Israel trying to achieve ethnic, what do we call it? The displacement. That I think that case was probably pretty well substantiated. However, genocide, what's interesting about the genocide definition, even the UN definition, is that once you start going down into those sub definitions of like destroying whole or in part by rendering conditions unlivable, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, there's a specific subcategory and description right there. Let's talk about food and water. I think that if we effectively saw, because we've been warned about starvation probably over the past 90 days more aggressively than we've ever been warned about starvation. And so if I had seen a 200K, 400K jump in casualties related to basically indirect causes of war, then I would probably change teams and I would be like, oh yeah, this is a genocide. But as long as the casualty stats stay around like, I don't know, 69,000 direct.
How many children would be okay with you to be decimated and destroyed?
That's not the argument, Ben.
How many? Just how many? So it's right now about 30,000 children. What do you think? What would
Yeah,
make you
what are the age
change
groups of those
teams, bro?
children, Ben? Do you know, or are you just using the word?
A child is someone under the age of 18.
Okay.
Okay, so what numbers of dead children might stimulate you to no longer enthusiastically
So if we
support
start talking about
non-genocide?
children, so I don't like dead kids, Ben. I think you probably know that. I think you're just.
I don't think you like it. I think you love it. I think you love dead children. You've proven that because it makes you
Okay.
feel like a man. Probably when you went to go tinkle, you cried. That's why it took you extra long, because you have a devastating experience of taking your penis out. I don't know how killing dead children makes that better. I think the chat should rally and support a penis enlargement program for Connor so he can get over his problem and stop
Oh,
advocating
Ben.
for the
I
death
can't
help.
and genocide of children.
Listen, I
Oh.
can't.
Rhetorical.
I can't. Are we talking about girth or length? Because I don't think I can really do either.
And here I am
Anyway,
joking in the live chat
Finally,
that
we
I
agree.
just leave mine out the window. Yeah, I'm sorry that you
Right.
have to see that, Daniel, or Daniel.
Anyways,
sorry. Daniel. Yeah.
The point is though,
Okay, we'll get back to it.
if you actually wanted to get into the nitty gritty, like if you weren't somebody who was, crying about how much I love dead kids, then talking about my penis length as if those were correlated at all,
Yeah.
then I would get into combatants. I would get into training. I would get into, Hamas militarizing their teenagers in order to become combatants. But I don't think you're interested in that. I think you're just ready
Every
to pretend.
Palestinian baby is a terrorist, right? Kill them while they're young.
That's not what I said. I think that's not what I said. I think
It's
you
a
just like
perfect
making
Hezbollah
shit up.
point. It's perfect. You want the IDF money. You're not getting paid for the lies that you spout. So why don't you just go full Hezbollah? Every Palestinian is a future terrorist. Do you know what they teach in their schools? Come on, let's do it. Death to America. Death to America. Death to Israel, right? The charter.
we could probably, if you weren't,
if you want to
being
get paid,
clowned-
you got to do the Hezbollah. You got to do it.
If
Suck that dick.
if you
Suck that
stopped
Israeli
being a
dick. clown,
then yeah, we could probably take a look at it. But I don't think you're interested in taking a look at it, so it's fine.
All right, let's carry on. Oh my, the things I hear. Let's carry on. Thanks, guys. Let's see. Thanks to Turbo Jerko and all of other super chatters. I'm just scrolling down, getting to the right one here. So Isa Kabir says, banning Grace. Do you feel the U.S. should be a superpower? Grace, if you would like to jump in here, since we haven't heard too much.
I don't really know how to answer that question. Do I think the U.S. should be a superpower? I don't think we should be the world police. I think we should be isolationist largely.
I think we should be a superpower, doing good, making policies and laws that make sense, restoring the family, restoring our culture and civilization, and stopping with the racism and ultra violence that these two men are espousing. That is incompatible with our values as a basically Christian country, and a country which believes that people have the right to govern themselves. But these guys don't care. They take an oath, but it only applies to us. And Connor himself said it, the United States should run the entire world. That's all empires that try to do that, and as ours is going to certainly soon end with our endless wars, which he's welcome to fight. I think he should go to Israel and join the IDF.
Okay. So trying to cut to something that just kind of proves that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So when's the last time that, and by the way, this is not a justification of what Israel is doing in Gaza, but I think you probably know the answer to this question. When was the last time that the Gazan Palestinians had an election?
They were allowed to have an election in, I think it was 2007, in which they elected Hamas.
And
they
what's
have
happened
not
since
subsequently, they have been put under siege and not allowed, like they were punished for electing who they elected.
So actually Hamas, according to you, or at least by inference, you're saying that Hamas is actually open to elections right now. They want to, they just can't. Israel won't let them.
I don't think Hamas is in a position to run elections. No.
Okay. I think this is, I really only have like ableist slurs to use, so I'll skip it. I think this is one of the dumbest fucking things I've ever heard recently.
That's
I think
not a
that you
debate.
know,
It's
I
not-
think
it's
that
not
you
an
know
argument.
for the past 19 to 20 years that Hamas has not allowed elections within their country. And I think you also know that what I'm saying, when I say that I support republicanism, that I support Americanism, that I support our political project, it's not that I want you, Ben Thorp, an American citizen, to lord over the Palestinian people. What I want to happen is I want to work with the Palestinian people who are interested in republicanism, who are interested in freedom, who are interested in democracy, and I want to embolden them to overthrow their oppressors, who, while that could be
As
considered
defined
Israel,
by you.
I think
always.
it's also considered Hamas. Yeah, because I believe that representative mixed economy capitalist democracy
Right.
is
We
the
need
best
Donald.
goddamn system
We
on
need
earth.
Donald
And the fact
Trump and
that you
Tony
don't,
Blair to
I think you're
teach
kind
the
of a pussy.
darkies. We need Donald Trump and Tony Blair to teach the darkies how to run their own government.
I think that authoritarian theocracy is pretty bad no matter who does it. So, yeah, I think that republicanism is a preferable form of governance, which is actually weird because that's kind of like the whole predicate of like the 20th century of the United States of America is like the predicate that communism, authoritarian communism sucks ass, that fascism sucks ass, that jihadist theocracy sucks ass. But you seem to just think that it's arbitrary. Actually, you know what? If there's fascists in Germany, who gives a fuck? If there's communists in Soviet Russia, who gives a fuck? No skin off of your ass. If there's communists in Southeast Asia, who gives a fuck? No skin off of your ass. And you know what? Here's the thing that I'll say, Ben. You're a fucking pussy, okay? You want to talk all this shit about who I am and what I do and all
What is
that
this
kind of shit?
communism
You're a
talking
fucking pussy.
point?
penis
It's
comment
not
hit
1982 anymore.
All
What
you've
is
done,
this
all you've done
communism
is you fucking
talking point?
cried about your boys going to fucking war, and then you said, "Oh, but don't drop
care
the
about my
bombs.
children.
I don't want to save my boys from the war." You're pusillanimous. You don't know what the fuck
Okay.
you're talking about.
Okay, hold on. Just hold on a second. I get it. You're upset. Now,
No, I'm not upset.
no,
You're
okay, you're not. Okay,
fucking
you're not
annoying.
upset. You're not upset.
All right, so let's get to the point. He's
Wait,
accused you of
can I
having a
just respond?
uterus.
Can I just respond?
no,
You
no,
don't see there as being any problem with a foreign government running a Palestinian state for them until they can learn and be re-educated, because that's your 20-point plan.
We did that for the Japanese and for the Germans. Do you have a problem with it then, Ben?
Okay, so I can't finish my point. You don't see
No,
any
because your
problem.
point is fucking retarded, Ben. So did
That's
we
a
do
great.
that for the
You
Germans?
know what? That's great. Why don't you just
Did
send
we
a
do
whole
that for the
defined thing?
Germans,
You're
Ben?
retarded.
No,
You're
you wanted my
stupid.
attention. You wanted my undivided attention.
asked
You wanted
you a
me to
question.
spurg out. You wanted your clips. Here's your clip. Did we do that for the Germans, Ben?
We
The answer is
largely
yes.
allowed.
Are they white, Ben? The answer is yes. Did we do this for the Japanese, Ben? The answer is yes. So stick your fucking shitty, fucking retarded, ahistorical, illiterate, fucking alcoholic, pot-smoking, dipshit fucking perspective and jam it up your fucking ass.
Okay,
No,
I'm not your
happy now,
daddy,
Ben.
Connor.
You're
I'm not your
happy
daddy,
because
but
I
if I
finally
was,
gave
I'd
you the
kick your
attention that your
fucking
dad
little
never gave you.
ass.
You're
Okay?
fucking happy right
So,
now.
There
Why
is.
is everybody
Like
so?
Can you
Shut the
try
fuck
to?
up.
Saucy.
I get it. Daddy issues. I get it. Daddy issues.
All right,
Okay.
guys. Let's,
can I
I love
make a
my
sub-
dad. My dad loves me.
I-
I
Can
have
I
a
make
great
a
family. Go
substantive
fuck
point? I'm
yourself.
sure.
all right,
I'm
I
sure
did
you
jump in
make
with the
sweet love
slight
every night,
derail
and he
because
tells you how big
hold
your penis
on,
actually is.
hold on. Just
You're the one who brought it up.
wait 2 seconds there, gents. I do want to move on with the questions. This is why I did have that little interlude there to try to push us out. But let's just try to take a chance here. Let's give each other a space to get a clear thought out.
Just a little point. Okay, so in Germany and in Japan, you had a war against a nation in which you had unconditional surrender and you completely invaded both of those nations. Of course, there's going to be a transitional period. That's not the situation in Gaza nor in the West Bank. So they can rule
That changes
themselves.
nothing about
And they're ready to do that. And another thing I'll add about Hamas is more than ready to transfer power to the Palestinian people as a whole. And you know, this idea that like they're whatever it is, your Islamophobic fantasy that they're
Ben, you're a fucking liar.
theocratic
I could just go onto Twitter
neo-Nazis.
right
It's not
now and I
true.
could find them executing 40 Palestinians today. You're
Yeah,
either
and you
lying
can-
or you're an idiot. And I don't
and you
really
can
care
go
to find
and
out
you can
which
go to
one.
Texas and you can go to Texas and you can see
I can go to
people
Texas
getting
and I
executed.
can find 40 people being executed in
Yes.
Texas.
Yes.
What the fuck are you talking about, Ben?
The United States of America practices the death penalty. Yes.
And you think that's akin to Hamas taking 40 random civilians, lining them up in the street and shooting them in the back of the head? You think the death penalty is equivalent to that?
I believe that is what the death penalty looks like in
You're
a situation
fucking idiot,
like that.
Ben. You're dumb.
Okay, that's your only point. You're a dum-dum. Okay,
No,
hold
no,
it
no,
up.
no,
Say,
no. Ben,
I
you
don't
just made
like
a really
you.
bad
You're a
argument.
dum-dum.
You just said that the American death
I'm trying to
penalty,
make points. All
with
you say is you're
20
a dum-dum,
years of
you're
appeals
retarded.
and hundreds of thousands or
You're on
millions of
TikTok.
dollars put into the justice system, the presumption of innocence before guilty. You said that's the equivalent of lining up 40 random civilians in Palestine and shooting them in the back of the head. You just said that
you think
Hamas is happy to turn over power to the Palestinian people.
Yes.
What the fuck evidence do you have for that perspective, Ben?
they've said that?
Oh, amazing. Okay. All right. I'm
Well,
good.
they've followed through
All right.
on everything they've said, unlike the Israelis.
I'm okay.
Okay, let's ask the next question. Thank you so much, guys.
Continue to hydrate. Yeah.
All right, so hold on now. So Turbo Jerko says there are 34 countries in North America. Now, I did look this up, and what I got back was 23, but, you know.
The Caribbean is considered part of it. That's why.
Various Caribbean nations. It says Canada, United States, Mexico, of course. Yeah, it says 23, so I'm not sure what the extra
Well, Connor can
11
help
is?
you because he thinks the United States of America is a continent. So, I mean, maybe
Notice
he can
how you
clarify
can't
it.
refute a single one of my fucking points. The only thing that you have is misspeaks. You have like 2 misspeaks over the course of 4 hours. You can't address a single fucking thing I've said.
They get right under your skin, don't they?
Ooh, no.
Hydrate more. Drink up.
All
drink
right,
up,
all
boy.
right.
Daddy
Stop.
wants you to
This is
take
water.
a drink. Drink it. You're drying up.
Stop trying.
Okay.
He's unnecessarily. Yeah, I was gonna say yeah.
Good
whatever we-
boy. Good boy.
Here,
good
we'll just
boy.
all drink in unison. How
Stay
does that feel?
hydrated, Connor.
There, Ben, you feel like you're in control now, right? Now that you can say drink, drink,
You can
drink,
see he's a sub. He's a
drink,
sub.
my pretties,
He's a
drink.
gay sub.
All right, get out of there. All right, Carl
Our foreign
Slagan says.
policy,
All right,
perfectly-
shush. All right, Carl Slagan says, from the river to the sea. Actually, I should read this in the reverse. It says, from the window to the walls is greater than from the river to the sea.
Agreed.
Okay, thoughts on the panel?
I don't. Is that a reference to the song? I'm actually. Oh, okay.
No thoughts on your end there, Ben?
I don't know the reference.
Oh, no worries. All right. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not entirely sure from the windows to the walls.
I'll have to go on TikTok, which I do constantly, apparently, and find out what it means.
Well, hold on. What's going on exactly here? Counterpoints. You were the first to answer. So what's it all
Oh
about?
my God, it's a Little John fucking reference. That's all it is. It's a hip hop lyric. It's like from the windows to the walls till the sweat drags down my balls. It's just a hip hop reference. That's all it is. It's a hip hop song. It's saying the hip hop song is better than the Palestinian war cry. All it was a meme.
Okay.
Okay, we don't have to
Okay,
be that deep
relax,
about it.
relax. Connor.
Thank you. All right. We were just a little
Don't
confused,
tell me what to do.
but thanks.
Drink more. Drink more.
Hold
You're gonna
on.
dry
On
up.
my
Will
best
you
behavior for you twats all fucking night.
Stop.
But you're right.
Oh, thank you
I'm
so
running out of
much.
it.
Thank
You're
you
You're
so
welcome.
much.
Let's stop trying to trigger everybody. everybody's just taking their
I'm just
jabs here.
concerned for his health.
No, you're
Dude,
also
I can hear you
taking your
breathing
jabs.
because you keep choking down cigarettes and joints.
All right.
Oh, now these are marijuana? Okay, yeah.
Well, I don't
Plus
know.
you're-
Oh,
plus
I
you're an
forgot-
alcoholic,
I prefer
Doug.
that they
Forgot to
were
mention my
because we can
crack
hear your
pipe.
fucking emphysema.
You forgot to mention my crack pipe and my needles.
Your
No, I don't
alcoholism,
give a fuck.
Dad.
Okay,
Yeah, the
hear
alcoholism.
you
right?
breathing.
I forgot. Daddy
Beer.
is a newbie.
All right,
Daddy
we got another
Daddy
question.
hurt me.
Hold on, I don't want to keep putting you on mute because it's not going to feel fair after a while, but it is fair because you're being bad. Anyways, yeah, no, I don't know anybody who drinks beer and smokes pot. That's for sure. I wouldn't know myself if I saw him. Alejandro Vera says, I'm not shocked that CounterPoints doesn't know the definition of a genocide. Genocide has nothing to do with numbers. It has to do with intent. So this is from Alejandro
Okay,
Valero.
I don't think Israel has the fucking intent in order to commit a genocide.
They have the intent to ethnically cleanse. Can you admit that?
Yep.
Okay.
So
but
you
we should
disagree
send them
with
money.
you disagree with genocide scholars who have said overwhelmingly, yes, it does meet the definition of genocide. But you just don't like the definition of the word genocide. So
No,
Okay.
I like it fine. I think I just
You just
think
disagree with the definition of it.
Yeah, okay. So the UN definition of genocide has subcategories relevant to everything in part. I mean, if you want to
Mhm.
pull it up, we can pull it up. I mean, fuck it, we're here anyways, right? So the
I
UN
know that.
definition of genocide is long and fucking annoying, but it says
You're a victim of a
the
definition now?
definition contained in Article 2 of the Convention describes genocide as a crime committed with the intent to destroy a nation, ethnic, racial, or religious group in whole or in part. It does not include political groups or so-called cultural genocide. But I also understand that there's like the means and all that bullshit like underneath. So, oh yeah, here we go. Killing members of the group. Okay, the Israelis have killed Palestinians. That's true. Causing serious bodily harm or mental harm to members of the group. I think that the Israelis have done that. Deliberately inflicting on the group can get conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part. I would argue that blowing up 80% of the buildings within Gaza could probably be argued as a component of subcomponent 3. However, with subcomponent 3, if you actually go to the UN and if you actually listen to the people who talk about genocide, they're talking about food and water on top of shelter. And so as a result, if the Israelis are still providing food and water, which is arguable, but arguably the casualty stats would bear out differently if they weren't providing food and water. And so as a result, they haven't met the threshold for 3. Imposed measures intend to prevent births within the group. Well, that's not true. Palestinians have had a positive birth rate for the past like fucking 50 years. And then forcibly transferring children to the group to another group, they're also not engaged in that in a large scale. So, no, I'm sorry.
So you don't think the Israelis have been
definition.
promoting birth control and abortion among Palestinians? They
You
absolutely
think that
have.
you think that Israel giving condoms and birth control to Palestinians is equivalent to imposing measures intended to prevent births within a group as a subcomponent of genocide?
Yes, just like people like you give them out to blacks
No,
because you
I
don't
think,
want them
I
around.
think you're a lay person
You're a
who is not reading the
racist, and
subcomponents of the
eugenics.
definition.
Eugenics goes hand in hand. Are you not aware of the history of Planned Parenthood?
Holy shit, I wish
eugenics
Margaret
movement.
Sanger did fucking more so I wouldn't have to have this conversation with you.
Okay, so you're into killing babies.
No, I'm into your parents using protection so you don't exist in a different timeline.
Margaret Sanger was a proponent of eugenics and the use of
that was
abortion
my joke.
as eugenics.
Yeah,
Okay,
that
I do
Margaret
identify
Sanger
as a
was the
black
basis
person.
of the
Yes.
joke I just made.
I am a black man. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
And I'm alive in spite of people like you. That's right.
All right. Let's
My
ask,
people been persecuted.
well, let's ask that next question. Thanks, Ben, and thank you, CounterPoints. Let's try to get Garet and Grace in here too, though. You know they're hanging out. Let's see. That was from Alejandro, so thank you so much for that. So Kristen Ramirez says CP. I'm so sorry, CounterPoints. You're getting so many questions. Maybe we'll just give CP a little break for a second here. Big League Drew, we'll come back to you, Christy. Don't worry. Big League Drew says, are current Israelis actual Semites? I'm going to hand this over to you, Garet and Grace, and get your thoughts just to give these guys a little headspace.
I'm pretty sure. Oh, Garet, you're muted, or we couldn't hear you. I'm pretty sure. Okay, I'm not gonna say I'm an expert on anything here, but I'm pretty sure that if you want to talk about who's a Semite, the Palestinians are equally, or if not more so, Semitic than most of the Jews in Israel. Maybe not the Mizrahi or whatever CounterPoints was saying, but certainly of the Ashkenazi, which are 70%. If you want to talk about Semitic, which I think is a phenotype or whatever, it definitely that applies to the Palestinians far more than the Israelis. So, are the Israelis Semitic? Somewhat, obviously. Some of them are. Or
But
all of them are to
anti-Semitism is
70%,
a
but
euphemism for anti-Jewish.
yeah. If you want to talk about
It's a
Semitic,
word that doesn't make any sense, but
yeah, it would apply to the Palestinians far
all
more.
of the people in that region are Semitic people.
Yeah.
The European Jews are not Semitic people.
All right.
Right.
Let's ask the next question. Let's see here. Thank you so much. Turbo Jericho said moderator redeemed himself. I take it back. Well, thank you so much. All right. Basil Problems. We'll get back to the one there for you. Counterpoints in a second. Basil Problem says modern day debate. Does Dr. Coons share a home in Las Vegas with Kash Patel? Do they spot each other? What a silly question. I don't know. Anytime I've ever seen Kash Patel, he looks like, you know how everybody has that one friend that's lactose intolerant and for whatever reason they eat cheese anyways. Yeah, Kash Patel just always looks like he's holding in a dangerous fart. I don't think anybody wants to stand behind him while he does a squat. I think you're in a very dangerous place if you're doing that. So, all right, we're going to get serious again. Christy Ramirez says, counterpoints, please explain the $21 billion in military aid since October 7th as a rushed loan, which will probably be forgiven, they said. Not to mention the $2 billion it cost to bomb Iran in one night alone. For what? Regime change? They're asking what it for.
Yeah. So effectively before October 7th, 2023, I think that if you take a look at it, we've been providing Israel between $3.2 and $3.8 billion every single year. That's largely in order to incentivize them in order to buy Western style security products. So it doesn't necessarily mean offensive weaponry. It could also be armored trucks. It could be guns. It could be lasers. It could be lights. It could be drone tech. It could be this. It could be that. Because we're trying to integrate as much of our military industrial complex along with the Israelis. When it comes to the $15 to $21 billion loan to Israel, I don't know. I don't really give a fuck. I'm pretty sure that's just the United States virtue signaling that we support Israel. That's probably all that is effectively a virtue signal.
Wait a second. You don't give a fuck. You're here to debate that that's a good idea. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I think that Israel probably could have taxed and paid for the war themselves. But I already said that earlier in the debate, Grace. I already said that. So anyways.
Why don't you give a fuck about the aid that we're giving if you're here to debate that we're supposed to give them aid? I don't understand.
I would have to explain like a lot. I would have to explain like how fiat currency works and also how our congressional representatives work.
Just drop it, Grace. I don't want to hear any of his fucking explanations or anything.
Oh, okay. I just think it's a basic point to make.
So with this
fucking guy, he just
you don't give a fuck. If you say I don't give a fuck about the aid we gave to Israel when we're here to debate, and you're saying we should have given that aid and should give more to Israel, it kind of seems like a losing argument, but okay.
It kind of seems like you just make up whatever fucking position is convenient to you without actually listening to what's being said. But I'll go.
You just said
now that your father doesn't want to hear the explanation, now I want to give the
I was going to say, he's been baited at this point, so we got to do it.
We are on, since the 1970s, we're on a fiat currency, which means that our money is no longer backed by a commodity. It's backed by the entire economic activity and commodities of the United States of America. So we can print money whenever the fuck we want. Also, what's going on is $20 billion or $15 billion. Well, it sounds a lot to you or me because we make less than $100K a year. It's actually almost fucking nothing. It's piss in the ocean. I'm pretty sure $6 billion is 0.16% of the federal budget. And that's why I called it a virtue signal, because this is not going to be what capsizes the debt machine of the United States government. So a bunch of fucking senators and congressmen wanting to virtue signal to Israel. It's no skin off of my ass. I don't give a fuck.
Thank you so much.
We're not here to debate whether you think it's not a big deal in the grander scheme of
the
things.
debate, Grace, because you've said the wrong thing 3 or 4 times, is whether or not we should continue to have a working relationship with Israel, which includes financial aid, which I still agree with.
No, that's not the topic. You're restructuring it. The prompt is, should the U.S. cut off from giving aid to Israel?
And
it's
the
not
answer
about
is no.
whether we should maintain a working business relationship.
Well, I mean, that's what the aid is.
When you bring up aid and you say, well, it's not that much aid,
directly is also
it's
no.
not really an answer. That's not really an answer.
The answer to the prompt is no. And I've argued it 6 to 12 times tonight. I've been quite clear.
No, but my point is when a chat asked about $20 billion going,
I don't think Israel needed it.
So
I think it was a virtue signal.
You're arguing against your own stance. You realize that?
I don't think it was a virtue signal. You think it was a vice
signal? The $3.8 or $3.2 billion of annual aid that we normally give. I'm not for that, which is part of the prompt.
But you're against
as well.
the aid. Okay, so just answer this question: are you against the $20 billion we've sent since October 7th?
I'm ambivalent, which I've also said 3 times.
But if you had to pick one, was it a good idea or a bad idea?
I don't
Which
think
one would you
Israel
pick?
needs it. We probably could have kept that cash.
So you're not even supporting your own stance. We win. You don't think we should?
You don't understand
You
words,
may
Grace.
say we
That's not
should-
my fault.
You may say we should send
Read
them
the prompt
3.8
again.
billion a year.
Read the prompt
but
again,
you're not in
Grace.
favor.
No,
of
Grace,
the
this isn't a
aid we've
W.
given
It's
them.
not. Read the prompt. Read the
It's
prompt
okay,
again.
Connor.
I'll give
It's
you a
okay,
direct
Connor.
answer. It'll
You
be
lost.
one
It's
word.
okay.
Go ahead, read the
You
prompt.
just defeated your own argument.
No, I didn't. You're just saying that because you don't know what words mean, okay? Read the prompt again. I'll give you a
If
one-word
we're
answer.
arguing that Israel should cut off,
Read the prompt again. I'll give you a one-word answer.
if we are arguing that America should cut off aid to Israel, then looking back on our aid to Israel in the
My answer
past
is
and
no.
saying, was that worth it or not, would be helpful to determine whether we should continue giving them aid. When you look back at the aid
No.
we've given them for the last 2 years, you say, I don't think Israel needed it. Don't you think that would heavily incline you to say, that is an
No.
argument against your stance, dummy?
No.
That's why he doesn't work for the IDF, Grace. He doesn't understand all the points.
No wonder they're not paying you 7K a post.
Hold on.
You're not
You
good at this.
fucking morons. You orangutans. You fucking 75 IQ subhuman dumbasses.
Call us
Calm down,
darkies.
buddy.
Call us darkies. Call us
Calm
blacks.
down, buddy.
Call
The
us
prompt.
stupid baboons.
Read the prompt and I will give you a one-word answer. It'll be amazing. Go ahead.
I'm
You've
not
already
doing
read it
this
twice.
game
Go
with
ahead.
you.
Read
You
it a
already
third time.
lost. We can move on to the next
No,
question.
You're
we're
the
not
sub.
going to.
Connor, you're
I
the
insist.
sub.
Keep freaking
We're the
out,
doms.
dude.
You're the
I
sub.
I
You're the sub. We're the
insist.
doms.
I
We're the doms.
insist that you read the prompt.
I insist that we move on to the next
Okay,
question.
moderator, I insist that you read the prompt.
All right, I'll entertain this so we can move on and so we can get the point out. Just let's do it. Should the U.S. cut ties with Israel?
My answer in one word is no. And that's not contradictory to anything I've said, Grace. The fact that you're acting like it's contradictory, okay.
But you don't support the aid we've sent them in the past 2 years.
Hold on, just to clarify, maybe CounterPoints puts himself in that group of people. I think they were like 19% that say like we could do a little less but still be involved. Maybe that's how you would classify yourself. In
I
this
actually
discussion.
think that that's a perfectly rational, insane take.
Okay, let's just move on from there then. I think we got clarification on that. Thanks everybody for your super chats. We'll just scroll down here. Yeah, I think we got to go back and get this one for you. There was one that we scrolled by. Oh yeah, Turbo Jerko said, Ryan, are you a Marxist? No. I'm sure that there's some ideas in there like about access to goods having influence on society, but as a grand idea, take the good, leave the bad, I guess. But no, ultimately no. Let's see. In Liberty and Guns We Trust, say CounterPoints. You said your worldview was that of the Founding Fathers. The Founding Fathers are against foreign entanglements. You just got done telling all of us.
Hold on,
how much you love the
that's
wars.
total bullshit. That's bullshit. Hamilton was for a strong central government. Jefferson, I'm pretty sure it was fucking Jefferson, but we could double check. But within like 10 or 20 years, we were deploying Marines into the Mediterranean. It's utter fucking cope to pretend that the Founding Fathers were non-interventionists. Not even to mention the fact that the entire 19th century, we started as 13 colonies on the east coast of the United States. How do you think we got Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Nevada, California, the Pacific Northwest? Do you think that some of it was diplomacy, some of it we purchased, but do you think we got that through fucking pacifism and non-interventionism? Get the fuck out of here. You don't know what you're talking about, dipshit.
Wow, that's exciting.
All right, let's move on. We still got quite a few super chats to go through, and there's more and more that keep coming in. So we do appreciate our audience, and the panel does not seem to be losing any fiery strength. So we appreciate.
Just make one point. There's no one tougher than an internet tough guy. It's just the tops. Internet tough guys.
You are like the fifth
the
retard
tops.
to say that to me. I'm 6'4". I'm 230 pounds. I spent 4 years in the Marine Corps and 4 years in law enforcement. I'm a tough guy in real life too, Ben.
All right. All right.
But right now you're an internet tough guy and you're killing it. You're also an armchair warrior.
All right, you're just trying to go.
Wait. If I actually did it, if I spent 8 years of my life walking the walk, how the fuck is it armchair? What the fuck are you talking about?
All right, let's just move on to the next question.
Oh, you're retarded.
Ken.
Again, amazing.
You're in an armchair right now.
All right, guys. We're done with you guys just trying to goad each other. Let's carry on. Michael Feldman says, "Why didn't Ben serve, or did he?"
I keep getting muted so many times. It's no problem. I deserve it. Did I
Damn right you do.
serve?
You're wild.
Have
today.
I been in the military? No, I have not been in the military.
I'm just kidding.
I don't
we appreciate
support
the
the
fire.
foreign. I don't support the foreign policy of the U.S. government. I don't believe we should be the government of the world.
Okay. Yeah, that was a personal question, so we'll just move on from there. Steve Sinead says, "What are Ben's thoughts on the Bosnian SS started by the Palestinian Arabs? Does he know Palestinians still idolize Hitler?"
Yeah, there was an interesting thing about Hitler that he is often, in a strange way, like identified as a hero by, I think a lot of people in Africa saw themselves as like part of his thing. I don't really get it, but I'm sure there are people who see him as the underdog and see themselves as the underdog.
Okay. Any thoughts on the other side, or do you want to carry on? Garrett, how you hanging in? Oh, you're not able to be heard. I think your headset might not be.
Garet, come on, get the mic working.
Your mic.
Garrett, you're being low energy. Let's bring it.
Okay.
Switch your mic input or something.
So
Unplug your headphones.
And we
So I
lost
can
you.
address it on behalf of our
Say,
side or
that's
whatever.
why we haven't heard from him in so long.
Any idolization of Hitler as somebody who quote unquote resisted the Jews, I think is obviously fucking cringe and should be propagandized against.
All right. Well, Garrett, if you got to jump out of the call right quick and come back just to get the headset back up and running, that sometimes does the trick.
It should be working.
Oh, you're
there
back.
we go.
All right. Can we get some of your thoughts here? We haven't heard from you because I don't think things have been working for you, and I'm sorry we haven't noticed.
Garrett's aura farming. Let's go, Garet.
I'm sorry. Could you please repeat it? I think I missed too much audio, and it's probably my fault.
Oh, were you not able to hear us as well?
If you could please repeat what was said.
Okay.
I
no
don't
worries.
remember, honestly. What was
I think it was technically brain dead for 5 or 10 minutes there.
Well, so he
We're
says
back
the
online.
questions were
I was
Steve.
having problems with my headset, so
No worries. So they said, what are Ben's thoughts on the Bosnian SS started by the Palestinian Arabs? And does he know Palestinians still idolize Hitler?
I mean that's not surprising to me, but it honestly, I have not heard this. So
Fair enough. Let's ask the next question then, and we'll try to get some more over to you now that you got you back and running with your microphone. So sorry if I didn't notice that. Basil Problem says, "Great. I'm glad you're here with your great." Garrett. He said, "I'm really glad you're here with your great opinions." You should have stated what some of those were so we could talk about it. But you have a fan there. Basil Problem says,
I think that's being sarcastic, actually. But
I don't know. Maybe Basil feels like you're jumping in at just the right time, and they're just, they're hot.
Garrett, I think you've been a calming presence for all of us, and I value it spiritually.
Maybe they find, they're harmonizing with you. All right. So
Yeah, we're
Basil
bi.
Problem says, Grace, do you like to teach the world to sing? Buy them a Coke. What? Do you like the world to sing? To teach the world
That's
to
a
sing?
Coca-Cola jingle from the 70s.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Great.
I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. I'd like to buy the world a Coke.
You've
to
dated
keep its
yourself.
company. Interestingly enough, that song, so they went around, I think at the Olympics or something, and each national group was like saying it's like traditional folk hymn, and the only thing Americans could come up with was a Coca-Cola jingle.
No worries.
Was that not also the end of Mad Men, where the main guy, Don Draper or whatever, he's like a cynical ad salesman and he hangs out with hippies for like the last month, and I think he gets inspired in like the last like 10 minutes of the series to write that jingle.
There you go. Let's get back on pace here, though. Interesting super
Probably
chats.
reading a book then.
That's what they wanted, I think. Even Lord says the reason why Nagasaki was A-bombed was because the original target, the cultural capital of Kyoto, had clouds that made it impossible for the mission.
I think that's true, yeah.
Kyoto. Yeah, sorry. I was gonna say, what did I say wrong there?
Yeah, it was a secondary target. Yeah.
Any other thoughts on the panel? Just want to carry on. All right. Basil Problem, thank you so much for your super chats there. Steve Saneed says, does Ben know there are Palestinians who have blue eyes and white skin while half the IDF is darker than Tupac?
Yes, it's funny the way that racism works.
No thoughts? All right.
It's really not based on skin color.
All right, CounterPoints has something to say. All right.
Dude, no, I was just going to say, like, okay. I don't even feel required to defend against charges of racism, but even if I was, it has nothing to do with my line of argumentation. And guess what? I'm like, haha, racist, meaning that I have lots of friends from various backgrounds and we banter with each other and we have fucking fun.
The I have like black friends line. Okay. Great.
Yeah, no, seriously. I have several black friends. Yeah. They're nice. I like them just fine. Okay. So just out of fucking nowhere.
I listen to Michael Jackson. Connor, yes, I get it.
Yeah. Connor has an instinctive hatred of anybody of a different fucking racial category.
Sure, I listen to rap music. I listen to the dark on the radio.
Yeah, sure. I love T.I. I love Andre 3000. I love Outkast. I love a whole bunch of hip hop art. Absolutely.
Connor, you're lacking social skills. You realize that?
I don't think so at all.
Okay.
I'm just wondering if these.
That's like a trope. That's like a meme.
Why are you just trying to trigger Connor all night? All right, go ahead, Gary.
I listen to rap music when someone says you're racist is a meme. You realize that? You don't realize that.
No, I do realize it. I'm leaning into the meme. I don't care. I don't give a
social skills need to
I don't give a fuck about your opinion about whether or not I'm racist because it has nothing to do with any of the arguments that I fucking made.
Do you not think?
And all the arguments that I made were perfectly coherent. And you guys seem to have
saying that does not mean that's true. You saying I'm not a racist does not mean you're not a racist.
Even if I was racist, it wouldn't fucking matter. That's my point, Ben.
Can I ask you a simple question?
My point is, even if I was the most Jacobian fucking analytical race realist motherfucker, it would have nothing to do with anything I said tonight.
Do you think that colonial projects, such as the one in the United States of America, were in some ways based on racism?
Sure.
Okay, so do you think that the state of Israel is a colonial project?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's like 1 + 1 = 2, Connor.
Yeah, that's because you're dumb and you don't understand history. Because
you're a dummy.
No. I'll explain it. You're too dumb, but maybe the audience isn't. Israel and the Jewish people have an attachment to that land that stretches back 3,200 years to the Exodus from Egypt.
Oh, the land was promised to them 3,000 years ago argument. Connor.
No, that's not my point at fucking all. But what I'm saying is that
trope after
when
trope.
You look... No? Okay. I'll finish my point. Thank you. So when you look at the historical and ethno-religious histories of these people, I would argue that the Jews have as much of a claim to Israel as any other motherfucker. You know why? Because you say the Semitic people, this was actually kind of an interesting anthropological point. You say that the Semitic people who are currently in Palestine are just as Semitic as the Jews. Do you know why the Muslim Semites...
I didn't
do you know do you know why the Muslim Semites of that area are Muslim? Go for a guess. Stab in the dark. Why are they Muslim?
Because they converted to Islam.
When? And why?
The Arabs converted in the 700s or 800s.
Okay. And why?
Why did they convert to Islam?
Yes. Were they just all getting along to get along? Did they just think Islam was based?
There was an Arab conquest.
No, they were forced into it.
There was an Arab conquest.
Okay.
So what?
So the fucking moral frogging about how Israel is
it's the social skills
European
again. Moral frogging is just
Europe. Well, I want to call you the F slur, but that's homophobic. So, anyways,
I thought he was saying
euphemism is less homophobic. Isn't it more homophobic?
Saying no, frog is a term that's replacing a homophobic slur. But anyway,
why don't you say gay? You're a gay guy. You're a homosexual.
No, because I'm not trying to be homophobic. I'm saying that.
So why are you using a euphemism for
moral frogging? Moral frogging means that I think that you're pearl clutching over moral offense that you actually do not have. I don't think
so
you think
I am into racism.
I don't think you think I'm racist.
absolutely.
I think
No,
you're
I don't
using
think
it
you're a
as a
racist. I know
rhetorical
you're
argument.
a racist. You're a
What's
total
that?
racist. Yes, you're a racist. Obviously.
Oh, okay, you're retarded.
Wait, so
Okay, that's fine.
is Connor wrong
I'm
because he's
retarded and gay.
Hold on.
That's
You
what
guys
I
are just doing our
Ben,
big meta
I
there.
didn't-
Let's
is
let Garet in.
do
I
you
absolutely
think
you're a
do you
racist.
think
Yes.
Connor is wrong because he is racist?
Hold on, Ben. I put you on mute just for a second because there's too much.
Yes,
crosstalk.
I'm not in favor of racism.
So you think Connor is wrong because you think he's racist?
Among other reasons, yes. I think Zionism is founded on racism. And he admitted that it's a colonial project, and colonial projects generally involve racism. And there's tons of racism in early Zionist
it's
literature.
like you're so ignorant of history. I would borderline have to do a fucking thesis.
I get
paper
it.
to
I'm
prove how
gay
wrong
and
you are.
retarded.
You think?
Okay,
Do you think when the Greeks settled in ancient Italy, even though they were colonial projects, do you think those were racist projects?
No,
Okay. All right.
they
Let's
were
move on then. Let's move on
imperial
then.
projects.
All right, we're gonna ask the next question.
Oh.
Let's. I mean, unless you really want to.
No, I
Carry on.
don't. I
Okay.
don't want to talk
Getting
about.
upset. Connor's
I don't
getting
want to
upset.
talk about the
No,
history.
no,
Take
it's
a
okay.
deep sip of water.
Greek
1
colonization.
second,
Just read the next question.
Maybe
right.
next time.
There, I was gonna say, Ben, you're gonna make everybody have to run to the washroom. You keep talking like that. All right. Even Lord says, even Lord 7825 says, the Thorps were fantastic and entertaining tonight. I beg you both to please continue debating. Well done, Mr. Connor, on carrying your side on your back. Oh well, even Lord.
Look at him.
That is just anti-Garet-itism right there.
Hey,
I'm a fan
I
of
love
Garet.
for letting me throw elbows. Thank you, Garet.
Garet has been mogging the panel the entire time. He didn't even listen to half the debate. That's how cool he is.
Just
I've
standing there with
been
your
listening.
invisible
Gotta
cape
get Connor's
flapping
head
in
out
the
of his
wind.
hands. Connor, it's gonna be okay. We love you.
All right.
Oh,
I think Connor is very
I'm
happy
sorry.
with how the
I
debate
started.
went.
I'm
considering
listening, but I
all of
started
the,
playing Candy Crush. My apologies.
All right.
This is
I
where
think
the
Connor
social
is very
problem
happy with how this debate went, considering your arguments were incoherent and lacked substance. You're focused on racism.
Okay. Let's.
I mean,
Okay,
I think
so
we made
you
other
won
points
because you
other than
won.
racism.
That's a great point.
But there was yeah.
The thing to
point
do
that
in
the colonial
debating, guys,
project is
just
racist.
Just a little debating
pretty
tip.
basic.
Just call
To
them
say
racist.
I am right because I'm right. It's like it's not a win. To assert you won is the lamest of all debate tactics.
I didn't assert that we won. I asserted that your arguments were incoherent and focused on racism.
I mean, that's better than Connor's like you're retarded and gay, but like it's not much better.
All right. Let's ask the next question here. Oh,
You could have proven us wrong right from the beginning, but you didn't.
All right.
Okay, mother.
Another little distraction here. Basil Problem says, modern day debate need to calibrate on the soy boy. Oop. Geez, see, I almost dropped my mic. See, that's really just low.
That's how soy you are.
That's low T, right? Isn't it? Soy boy scare. Where Ryan is a 1.0 soy boy. Where are you? Oh, man. Well, I think, James, you're going to have to tell me when the last time was that you handled a chainsaw or drove a tractor, or any of the things that this country boys do. Pretty sure he's, I think he's living in the city right now. I don't know. I'm pretty sure being a soy boy means that like you're low T, like you don't have 2 children and an active love life. Anyway, I could keep flaming. Anyways, even Lord 7825 says, I wish Connor was as based as Ben thinks he is.
I'll be right back.
You liked it at first, Ben, and then you realized
Until he got things he is.
Yeah, you didn't like that sharp turn there.
No.
Turbo Jericho says, not random civilians. They were gangs, people aiding the IDF or the people raiding the aid bad guys, just like the ones we send to the unalive chamber. I don't think random unaliving is their protocol. I am so sorry for how this is worded.
So that was him sweeping for the 40 civilians who were dragged out into the street and shot today. So that's cool.
That was his Hail Mary.
That's more Hezbollah, right? Do you think that Hamas is in a position to have like trials?
You're equating killing
You're
40
just
random
excusing.
civilians to the death penalty.
That's all you did. You
Texas.
just said, oh, yeah, well, dragging people out into the street, if they're civilians and you don't have evidence against them, it's the material circumstances. So fuck it. Shoot him in the back of the head. Awesome. Thanks, Ben.
I asked you a question. Do you think that Hamas currently has the ability to have court systems and due process?
Was that baked into your original question?
It doesn't matter. I'll answer the fucking question. No, but that's why I think that they should surrender. They should run new elections. They should seek peace with their neighbors. They should negotiate in good faith. That's what I think should happen. And I think they should become Republican because I'm a Republican.
And you should be part of the Board of Peace. I get it. Whites need to
I think
teach
they'd be
the
better off
darkies
if they listen to
what's
me.
up.
Yeah.
Yes, darkies should surrender to the whites. Yes, I agree. That is your position.
All right, let's carry on. Dees Newts says, Dees Newts 904, I should say. So the 904th Dees Newts says, isn't Grace, that's kind of a nasty chat. I don't think that's something we want to really, sorry, Dees Newts.
She's a hoe.
Let's just not right now. So sorry, Dees Newts. That's icky. That's like.
Did I just get called a hoe behind my back?
Yep.
Anyway, no, somebody asked one of those like mountain people incestuous questions, and we're just not even. So sorry. Yeah. Anyway, I have a good kick out of this. I'm Nova Scotia, and we have this Facebook group called Posts Out of Berwick Mountain. And one of my favorites, it's the cover page, and it says, "Cousins, just a term the government came up with to control who we sleep with." Posts from the mountain, right? Oh, God. All right. Hopefully nobody.
Are you French Canadian?
Me? No, I cannot speak French. I wish that would make me a lot more money if I did. Even Lord says, the Israelis are the only government that want their gift with interest in addition plus. It's comedically in line with their culture and religion. Any thoughts? No? All right.
Sorry, I missed the first half, so I couldn't tell if that was praise or criticism. What was the first half?
Okay, no worries. It says, the Israelis are the only government that want their gift with interest in addition plus. It's comedically in line with their culture and religion. This is
I must be missing words. Wand something. I don't know.
Okay,
I don't think I can.
Sorry, they're basically saying that they want
It's criticism.
way too much, is what they're saying. They want a gift, and they want interest, and then they want addition on top of that, is what they're saying.
And saying Jews
And
are bankers.
it's in line with their culture and their religion.
Okay, listen. I'll admit, I have lots of Jewish friends, Ben. Lots of Jews are finicky. There's my racism for the night.
I actually would
Jews
just
are not a race, but
I would just like to point out that actually the Jewish religion is anti the state of Israel. I'm pretty sure that the Jews are not supposed to return to Israel until the Messiah comes. So if you want to claim that Judaism is what's behind
Zionism
the
is
state of
an
Israel,
anti-Jewish.
yeah, it doesn't follow.
Atheists, secular atheists who hated being Jewish and felt like it was being weak, formed the state of Israel to enact the tenets of Central European romantic nationalism, basically what the Nazis were up to. And you can do a fun thing online. There's an app that will give you a quote from the early Zionists and a quote from the National Socialists and have you guess which one is which. And it's impossible to differentiate the two of them.
We'll do the various flavors of Zionism and Judaism a different night. I don't think I have the energy for it.
I didn't ask you to do it.
No worries. Deoxtrix says, or Decoy Tricks, sorry, I gotcha. Says, Connor arguing with no genocide in Gaza because of a population increase is like arguing that a population increase in Auschwitz, I can't say this, Auschwitz, and it means Auschwitz was fine. Relocation is part of genocide.
Yeah, again, I think that you guys can't contend with what I'm saying, so you just make up whatever the fuck you want. So, yeah, comparing Auschwitz-Birkenau to what's going on right now, I think is just ahistorical. I think it's stupid as fuck. I think you guys just I don't know what the fuck to say to you. You want to make the industrial slaughter of 6 million people over the course of 4 years identical to 60,000 people dying over 2 years. I think you're coping. I think you're full of shit. I think you don't know what you're talking about, and you can eat a barrel of dicks. So that's
wow, that's great.
How intellectual. I would just like to point out that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if Connor thinks it's a genocide or not. He already said he doesn't support what they're doing in Gaza, and yet he wants to fund it, which is, just I don't know if he's selling out or what the basis of that is. There's
Grace,
no
for the
argument for other
fifth
stuff,
fucking
but
time. Okay, for the fifth fucking time. We've already explained this. Garrett's already explained this to me. I understand you guys are just being fucking annoying in order to piss me off, but for the fifth fucking time. Okay.
I'm just
For the
making a
fifth-
point. There's no need to
for the
get
Yeah,
mad.
he has like first
For
grade
the
substitute
fifth-
teacher.
There's
in
no
there.
need to
right,
get
hold
mad,
on. We're gonna
Connor. I
let
just made a
fifth-
point.
we're letting
for
Connor
the
answer,
fifth
guys. Just one
fucking
second.
time. Okay. I laid out the history of Israel. I laid out how they probably have some level of claim to the land. But then Garrett and I both represented multiple times the fact that we collaborate on military industrial complex technology, how we collaborate on intelligence sharing, how we collaborate on stabilizing the world economy, how we collaborate on the energy fields of the world. And we don't want whatever our relationship is to sour to the point that we totally cut off aid, because we don't want Israel to go to Russia or China with their capacity. Because while Israel is an
already did.
incredibly small nation,
Whoopsie.
we do not want them selling out everything to the
Can-
Russians and the Chinese.
Can we all agree no more millennial speeches and pontifications? Can we just? I can't.
No,
like, my
we
head,
can't.
My
If you
brain's
guys
gonna
can't
break.
understand what the fuck I'm saying,
No,
that's
no,
not
you're
my
not
fault.
the professor. You're not the substitute teacher in front of the class.
Yes, I am.
No,
Yes, I
you're
am.
not.
You guys don't know
No,
shit
you're
about
not.
fuck, and it's my job to correct you.
No, it's not your job.
Yes, it
you
is.
fucking
That's why they
millennial
invited me here.
prick.
They said Grace and Ben Thorp don't know their fucking asshole from their elbow. Can you please
That's what
go
they
correct
said.
them on
That's what they
history?
said? Is
Yeah,
that what they
that's
said?
what he said.
Who said that?
Oh,
No
that
one
was
fucking
us.
said that.
Oh,
I'm
that was
fucking
us.
with
I'm
you,
so sorry.
okay?
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Point
as well.
is,
Ryan, how dare you?
Your daddy
Still
told
don't
us
know
that.
shit about fuck.
All right, hold on, guys.
Still don't know shit.
Hold on. Hold
I
on.
don't
Hold
know
on.
you're mad,
You're
man.
all just gonna get put on mute for a second. We got to
Don't
move
know
on.
shit about fuck.
I don't mind you guys, just like I say, a little bit of poofling in here and there's one thing, but yeah, let's let's just try to get through some of the super chats. That
Hunter,
you guys
have
have
you
fun.
ever
Just remember,
considered-
No,
just
no,
remember,
we're asking the next one. Go ahead.
just remember the
Garret.
poll that we've already done. 19% think that there could be less aid to Israel while still supporting them.
Let's see. Even Lord, orangutans have a higher IQ average than Haitians. Why are you making me say these things out loud? Carl Slagan, can you refer to it as interventionism? The U.S. deployed the military in the Barbary states, because American ships were being attacked by pirates and their citizens sold into slavery. Point of clarification.
I would agree that we have been more initiative focused, particularly since World War II. But that's like, I mean, you don't think we have like what's going on with the Red Sea crisis right now? The Red Sea crisis is international commercial vessels being missiled despite not being related to the state of Israel. Like 60% of the boats that have been shot or missiled or civilians have been killed, they're all like West African nations. So regardless of whether or not you want it, your options are police the Red Sea, police the Suez Canal, police the Mediterranean, or wait until somebody gets shot and then decide to police. America decided probably in 1946 that it was easier to prevent World War III than it was to wait for World War III to happen and then play catch up. That's what we've been doing for the past 80 years.
It's just like not waiting for an invasion and preemptively striking.
Right, which is always used as an excuse for offensive wars. Every single time.
Except for Korea was defensive, except for Vietnam was defensive. But yeah, sure, like two of the
The U.S.
biggest Cold
involvement
War
in
conflicts.
Vietnam was defensive. Right. Okay, that's exactly like a
No,
guy
see,
like you would
Ben,
think.
this is what, once again, when you roll your eyes like a teenage girl, it just shows me you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Why did we never invade northern Vietnam if we were on the offensive, Ben?
The United States
why
was
did we
defending
never
itself in Vietnam.
Why did we never hit their capital with airstrikes, Ben?
The United States involvement in Vietnam was a defensive war.
Yes, Ben.
Okay.
Historically.
Okay.
Okay, smirking and moving your mouth back and forth sideways doesn't change a fucking thing. If we were on the offensive,
You're such
why
a
didn't we
sad
invade?
person.
No.
What
Answer
is
this
with
question.
you?
If we were on the offensive in Vietnam, why didn't we invade the North?
We were in a foreign nation.
Okay.
That has
That nothing to do with my question.
War.
Answer my question. If we're on the offensive in Vietnam, why did we not invade the homeland of our enemies?
We may not have invaded, but
You can
we
say
conducted
the
large-scale
South
bombings
Vietnamese-
in North Vietnam. So it was
Okay.
it was an offensive war.
Okay.
Well,
Historically.
it was like the idea was we were helping the South Vietnamese, but
So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and the idea is if we don't defeat them in the jungles of Phanang or whatever, we'll be defending them on the coast of California. It's the same bullshit that every evil, aggressive empire. Yes, it is.
No, the domino
absolutely.
theory had nothing to do with the mainland United States. You just made something up.
That's
It's
what they
okay, man.
literally
Next question.
said.
Next question.
If we're not going to be, if we don't defeat him in the jungles of Vietnam, we're going to be defeating him on the west coast of America. And it wasn't true then, and it's not true now.
All right, we're gonna ask
The
next
Iranians
question.
would have no
Hold on.
problem with us whatsoever if we left.
Okay,
them.
domino theory didn't have to do with the west coast of the United States. Domino theory had to do with Southeast Asia. And you know what happened as soon as Vietnam fell? Actually, concurrently with Vietnam. Cambodia fell. Do you know what happened in Cambodia? Pol Pot seized power. You know what Pol Pot did? He wiped out a quarter of his fucking population. That's what happened there. And then the same thing with fucking China. When you're looking at the evils of the world, you keep using shit like words like, oh, the evil American empire. I will put the sins of the United States of America toe to toe with any authoritarian dictator throughout the fucking world. Okay.
Wow. Saying fucking really helps. It makes it more intellectual. But what I'm saying is, do you think that the United States should have become entangled in the Chinese Revolution?
No. Although
why not?
Actually, yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Actually, supporting the KMT and supporting the nationalists against the communists was actually something that I perfectly support. Yeah.
We weren't heavily entangled, but okay. So yes, you believe that the United States, you've already said this.
Yeah, I think if the nationalists had won the Chinese Civil War, then Mao Zedong wouldn't have been able to do the Great Leap Forward. And as a result, there would be tens of millions of Chinese people still alive compared to what happened. So yeah, actually, you know what? I'm going to reverse what I said 30 seconds ago. And I'm going to say that the United States should have supported the nationalist government of China more than we did.
I think if Asians want to kill each other, they're welcome to. I don't think it's any of my business. And I don't want my sons. I don't want any of us to send our people over there or our money over there. If the Soviets want to take over, that's between them and their people. I don't understand why we should get involved.
You're like a pre-World War I, pre-World War II pacifist isolationist. Got it. Heard.
All right. Let's ask the next question here.
At least you voiced your opinion.
All right.
Let's move on.
Evelyn Lord 7825. Connor Maggot is a fantastic 2-in-1 insult for GHE. Okay. Big League Drew says, if Israel has a 3,000-year claim on that land, why was it proposed to build in other places before the Levant?
Because, so can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Unfortunately, yes.
So, be good.
The Iranian or Persian, the Persian, Hellenic, Roman, Muslim, and Crusader invasions basically made it so a lot of the Jews didn't want to live in Israel anymore. So they participated in what was known as the diaspora, where they spread out across the world. And so, to Ben's credit, he did know this. In the 19th century, Zionism was originally a secular movement. They actually did not, there were religious Zionists, but a healthy chunk of them were actually secularists. And so they actually argued that they kind of knew that settling in their historic homeland would be a problem with the Ottoman Empire and would be a problem with locals. So that's why they thought about other places before they ultimately decided on Israel.
All right. I don't mind having a snack on stream if you just want to back away from the mic a little bit there, though, if you're going to do it. Just because the lip smacking sounds like clapping cheeks here and there. I'm like, what's going on here? All right. I'm just picking that. I'm picking. All right. If you
was it me doing that?
Oh, yeah, it was for sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I think you're the only one that probably would have handled that with that level of scrutiny with some grace. Anyway, I wouldn't be very polite.
You're calling CounterPoints a bitch? CounterPoints? Do you want to
no, you stop that. I'm not being... No, I was talking to you, Lip Smacker McGee.
Trying to plant the seeds of dissent.
Oh, I see what he's up to. I'm not falling for his traps. All right. AKA Budasai says, Connor paints a colorful picture. Well, that's a vague super chat, so we're gonna carry on. Thank you. Bubblegum Gun 3292 says, daily reminder: Christianity is to blame for Zionism. All right, I think that's something everybody might be able to chew into.
That is
Maybe.
not true at all.
This is their claim. So, does anybody have anything to say?
Well, maybe they
against
mean
them?
the Protestants that were
Oh,
swayed and supported Zionism. I
yeah,
could
they were
see that,
bought off,
American
basically.
Protestants. Yeah.
Any thoughts around the panel? No? All right. I think it's fine to move on because we have had so many questions, and I do appreciate you guys for hanging out and answering all these questions. Hopefully you guys have had fun as well. We are getting near the end, so just hold on to your chairs there. Don't burn out entirely. Thanks, guys. Decoy Tricks says 40 civilian executions. Israeli has 10K civilian hostages that they do not allow trial and due process. Less moral frogging from the Zionist, please. That one would be
Drew.
back to you there, Connor.
I don't think Israel detaining people means that you should be. I don't think that gives you carte blanche to round up random people and shoot them in the back of the fucking head. So, sorry.
There were some pretty bad videos I was seeing circulating around.
I don't think anyone alleges that was a random group of people, but
I don't know exactly
maybe
what the story
the
was,
IDF
but
thinks
Does
so.
that make it better?
It makes it different.
So hold on. So
Okay, go
let's say that this is the French resistance in Paris and Germany, and then the Nazis like round them up and shoot them in the back of the head without any due process, and you're like, well, they're under pressure. The Allies are on the verge of invading. It wasn't a random group of people. Now, descriptively, you're correct. They're French partisans. They're spies, right?
Right. Yep.
But if you're somebody who doesn't like Nazis, the way that I don't like jihadist authoritarians, then you would view the French partisans as the good guys, and you would view the authoritarians as the bad guys. So you saying,
Right.
oh, well, these are just like, these aren't random civilians. I find that morally reprehensible because I think that you are effectively, whether you intend to or not, you are sweeping for jihadist authoritarian fucking freaks. So,
Well, I mean, I don't. I'm not a partisan. I'm sure you call me a Nazi, so I might as well just say like, okay, maybe I am, but like, I think.
I mean,
that
it seems like you've taken
any army.
Hamas's
Can I
side
just
at
finish
certain
my point?
points in this
Just
debate.
Hold on, Garrett. I know that you're just waking up, but can I just finish my sentence? In any military action, you're going to have situations in which you can't really deal with due process and take prisoners of war and do all the proper Geneva things.
Right.
That's irrelevant as to whether they're right or wrong. I mean, that
All right,
is.
I'm going to cut you off there. Let's let Garet in because he has said the least during this Q&A. That's fair. Go ahead, Garet.
It seems like you have taken Hamas's side at several points in this debate.
Yes, I'm a Hamas propagandist. Yes, great. Also a Nazi.
I wouldn't say
and an
propagandist, but
anti-Semite.
maybe more like sympathizing.
Right.
or the way that I've heard that described before is useful idiot.
That's accurate too, I would say.
I sympathize with Hamas. Yeah, I do.
Okay, I think that, no offense, but I think that makes you a useful idiot.
I support
I don't
people
really know what
fighting
the
back
term-
against oppression and colonization. I do.
Okay, I think that if that includes like shooting unarmed men, women, and children in the fucking face, then okay. I think you're a useful idiot for
That's
Well,
what
if
the
you're going to
IDF
say
does.
Hamas does that, that may or may not be true, but the IDF certainly does that. So we're both useful idiots at the very least. Can you admit that, Connor?
No, I can't.
I agree that Connor's an idiot.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
Whether he's
no.
useful or not
So
is
here's the
up
thing.
for grabs.
Here's an actual substantive difference. Is also this is one of the things that's really frustrating from this debate, where not only have you guys been obtuse, but I'm also pretty sure you're just lying.
We understand
so
that
you
you're
say,
emotionally upset.
I don't
We get
know. I don't know whether or not Hamas has shot men, women, and children. You would know if you just watched Hamas's own videos of what they post. So the fact that you don't know that, you're either lying or you're ignorant or you're obtuse. And I don't know which one it is. And frankly, I don't give a shit. Now, the next part of that is that when it comes to the IDF, oftentimes there are these broad claims, for instance, like The Israelis are using drones in order to shoot, kids in the head. The Israelis are mass executing XYZ ABC or whatever. But typically what ends up happening is when you actually get to the video footage, when you actually get to the photos, what's typical is that the situation is oftentimes more complex. And that's not to say that IDF doesn't do war crimes. They've done war crimes that I'm aware of. However, to make morally equivalent, let's say that there's a man with a gun and he's a military-age male. Let's say that there's a woman and a child. And let's say that you shoot at the man with a gun and you accidentally hit the woman and child that are next to the man with the gun. That is morally different than walking up and shooting all three on purpose. There is a moral difference there. And if you don't recognize that moral difference, then I don't know what the fuck to do for you.
I
Wow.
completely
Thank you.
agree. That's
Thank
why
you for
I'm
your
against
speech.
the IDF.
I love millennials. This guy is the epitome of the asshole millennial. I love it. That's what he should
I don't know
call
why he
himself.
has to go for.
Asshole millennial.
You're
I don't know why you have to do a speech every time you want to make a point.
Because has so low
Because
self-esteem
you guys should
that he
already
can't
know this.
interact. He lacks social.
You should already know this. I shouldn't have to explain this to you.
But the
I
points
feel
you're
like I'm
making,
talking to
even
He's a
if I
millennial
was to grant,
asshole.
even
I feel
if
like
I
I'm
was
talking to
to grant-
12-year-olds.
people like this.
even if I was to grant the points you're making, the exact same thing applies to the IDF, and you just fail to recognize that.
No, it doesn't. If what you said applied to the IDF, the casualty stats would not be 69,000 with 200,000 indirect. The casualty stats would be 2.2 million. So the fact that you don't understand that, you're like, why does Connor go on a 2-minute speech? It's because I have to explain shit to you like you're fucking 10. That's
Another
why.
speech. Thank you.
He's a millennial. I think it's great. You should start your own circus. The millennial prick.
All right.
You should start your own
Pontificating
fucking
endlessly.
show, the Gen Z fucking lost motherfucker. Like, dude, you don't know shit about fuck, and yet you still confidently talking to a mic. Not my problem.
I'm Gen Z.
Z?
Thank you.
Gen
Thank you.
Z?
All right. Let's ask the
My
next
Gen
dad
question.
is
Z,
Gen
okay.
Z.
All right. Let's just ask the next
Why
question.
is-
We
Why
are
is
so
that
back
the
in the weeds.
focus?
We're so back in the weeds, aren't
Like
we?
him putting you in the wrong generation just suddenly becomes the focus of the
Because
conversation
Connor
now?
gets so
Because
Connor's
he's-
a bad debater and he gets so
Sorry, is he
triggered.
older?
He
Is he a
makes
boomer?
basic mistakes.
I thought
Makes
that was a
basic
compliment.
mistakes.
well,
Are you a
let's go-
It should
boomer?
be
Do you know
pointed
how
out
the
because it's
generations
embarrassing
work?
for him.
Do you know
Yeah,
what
wait,
Generation
hold on.
Z?
Are you a boomer?
Because you want to seem English instead of saying Generation Z when you're an American?
Okay.
Because you think it gains you prestige points to say Z?
The
What do you say?
three biggest
What do you say
owns
to
you've
someone who's
had
coming
are the
over
way
your
that I've
apartment?
pronounced
Hey,
things
would
or
you like
said
to come-
things, but you can't contend with a
would you
single
like to
fucking
come
real
into my
idea that I've
flat
said all
and
night.
watch the telly.
All
and
right,
then we'll take
hold
tube.
Did you just call it the tube? Oh my goodness. Hold
Dad,
on.
you're an alcoholic Gen Z weed smoking.
We got-
gay
Not
man.
Gen Z, Gen Z, because it makes you sound vaguely British. He's
Oh,
not
I'm
British.
sorry. Hold on. My apologies. So I meant to call you X. Are you a boomer? Or are you X?
You cannot place Sam Cedar's younger brother in a generational bracket. No, I'm
Are
just
you
kidding. Maybe he was
boomer?
born. No, I'm,
Or are you X?
I'm just picking.
No, he's Zed, Connor, according to you. Let's move on.
I
then.
like being
Wow.
Z.
Oh,
because
handsome
it makes
Yeah,
me feel
he's
like I'm
Generation
fancy, and
Z.
maybe I'm
We
British.
Something no
gotta ask the
American
next
has.
question. I'm just gonna put you
Why
guys
would
on.
you do
And I live in a
Hold
flat
on.
and I watch the telly.
I'm not. I don't think anybody. Look, Garrett's falling asleep. He doesn't
No,
care.
I'm definitely not falling.
Oh, you're not
asleep.
falling asleep. I was gonna say it's where the glasses are glaring.
I've
I
been
think.
awake.
All right, I was
Yeah,
gonna say, I thought you had your eyes closed for a second there. I was gonna say, I think he's about as interested in the ages of our panelists as
I've
most
been
of
paying
you guys
attention to the entire debate,
are. We're just
and that's
messing.
why I've been responding when I'm able to.
The sleep allegations against Garet are not true.
It's the glare, and we can see his computer in his.
Believe it or not,
eyes.
he's awake, folks.
I mean, I need these glasses, otherwise this would be a
Counterpoints is
total
not going to
blur.
be with us for much
He is
longer,
in
though.
full
So,
consciousness,
all right,
guys.
you're back on mute, Ben. Just hold on. Let me ask these last couple questions. We'll get these speakers out of here, including yourself. I know, like I say, you got the catheter in. You can go all night. He's saying yes, he does. He does have a catheter in. All right. This is now official lore. Bubblegum Gun says, Jules claim to be from Africa. Send the jewels back to Africa. I think they're making a parody there. We're going to carry on. Basil Problem says, Garet speaks. And then he follows up and says, guys, I really want to hear more from Garet. All right.
Me too.
Rob Sabas says, Ben Otto wins every debate with anyone who believes Israel has the right to exist. Israel equals a colonialism. Colonialism equals racism. You're racist, so I win. So, I mean, I think there's so many different ways that people can hate one another, in prejudiced ways, and racism generally having to do with, believing that, having any type of relations or offspring with these people would be, or mingling with them in society would be somehow corrosive to society. I don't know if that accurately describes the panelists tonight. So let's just, maybe
just to respond to that, not one of our arguments had anything to do with race.
I think
they were all
fair.
entirely focused around the economics, the intelligence gathering, the shared values, shared interests, maintaining global stability in the region, etc.
Yes, but you're conveniently avoiding the fact that the entire state of Israel is based on the racist ethnic cleansing of people who were there before them. And you can say it's not racist, but the only reason the Palestinians were rounded up and forcibly moved and put into Gaza and are now being carpet bombed is because they're brown and the Israelis want a Jewish ethno-state. There is no other reason. They're not even bad people. They didn't do anything to the Zionists. It's the only reason. Why not go to an empty plot of land? There's no reason these people.
Why shouldn't the Europeans have dealt with what they did in Europe?
What?
Why shouldn't the Europeans have dealt with what they did in Europe?
What you're saying? Because the Europeans massacred a third of the international Jewish population, they should have given a Jewish state to the Jews?
They should have dealt with their problem that they caused.
Okay, yeah, sure. Honestly, if I could slap my fucking hands and if I could make the Holy Land Tucson, Arizona, I would. I just can't.
I don't know what that means.
No worries. Let's carry on.
But I'm pretty sure I agree that you can't.
Last two questions. Help me out here, Ben. Even Lord says, my last question. He says, why did incest destroy the Habsburgs, but the Ptolemies of Egypt had beautiful, strong geniuses while being the most incest? Was it luck? What is with the...
I don't have a lot of opinions on the Ptolemaic incestuous relationships.
It's pronounced Ptolemaic.
Oh, well.
I don't even think that's true. I think it's Ptolemic. I think you just made that shit up to sound smart.
Wrong.
No, I'm not.
All right,
well, give us a 30-minute speech.
Lawyered. All right, Turbo Jerk. Last question for $5 Canadian. So this is the last question. If you have any final thoughts on the panel and you want to get it out, just
okay. If it hurts your feelings to be corrected, I don't know.
Oh, shush for 2 seconds. All right, Turbo Jerk says, Israel has children in their prisons, and those prisons are very horrible. So children in prisons, let's talk about it, and then we will go to closing statements.
Wait, CounterPoints obviously just Googled this, and he found out that he's wrong.
No, I actually just sat here. I could Google it if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
Listen, I have no problems learning new things. What I have problems with is basically people pretending that they know shit, but they don't.
Okay, so what was your emotional outburst when I corrected how the term Ptolemaic is pronounced?
Because I want to know what the dynasty of Ptolemy is.
All right.
Am I right to say it's Ptolemaic?
You might be, but Ptolemaic so far is pulling up mathematics. Now, it could be related, but I'll look it up.
All right. Even Lord says Ben said the dynasty name correctly. Cool. Let's answer this question from Turbo Jerko.
Education,
and then we're going to move on out. Everybody's allowed to know things about things. It's all cool. We're going to move on, though. Israel has children in their prisons, and those prisons are very horrible. So that is the claim here. So let's talk about is this true? And what? Well,
listen, I'm not a total douchebag, so I'll admit that when I Googled, because I said Ptolemaic, Ptolemic, everything I'm seeing on Google is Ptolemaic, and so I will accept your pronunciation.
I'm right. How about you say, you're right and I was wrong?
I will say that you were right and I was wrong about one thing out of 1,000 things. But I would say out of 999 fucking things,
Generation X.
You're so goddamn wrong.
You're also wrong that World War II was fought against the communists.
Yeah, all you have is misspeak, so you can't contend with anything real that was actually said tonight.
Your thing is you're so fucking smart.
Yeah.
So
I'm
when I point
substantively
out
smarter
things,
than you. Yes.
what have you corrected me on?
I mean, I would say
Everything
that I
else.
explained probably 3,200 years to you. I would say that I explained the entire fucking
What have you
basically
corrected
like American
me on in terms of my pronunciation or getting facts wrong? Nothing.
All right.
Wait, hold on. No, wasn't there the fucking stat about the Iraqis? And wasn't there also, Garrett, you were
Which
paying
was
attention to the entire
wrong,
debate.
which
Wasn't
was
there another
wrong.
fucking one? There was another one that was borderline embarrassing. Oh yeah, you two
It-
twats
it-
were saying that there was no military fucking relevance to Hiroshima and Nagasaki. You just made up the fact, whole cloth, that we did it to maximize civilian casualties. So do you want to say, so Ben, I in good faith, I said, yeah, I was wrong about the pronunciation of Ptolemaic. Do you want to admit right here, right now, that Hiroshima and Nagasaki both had military value?
Are
And
you
that's why they
currently
were
and
targeted?
soothing
the
your
and the Iraqi
clavicle?
polling.
Are you soothing your clavicle?
Yeah, I have nerve pain. That has nothing to do with my question. My question to you is you were dead
Well, I don't want to
fucking
cause
wrong.
you to need to soothe
You were
yourself that
provably
way.
wrong on something. So I said it for you. You say it for me.
For
Come on,
both.
Pookie Pants. Say it for me. Say you were wrong about something.
I mean, if
think-
he's gonna show you
I did not say that
his-
there were no military. Well, maybe if I did, I misspoke.
All right, there we go.
All right, fair
I'll
enough.
take it. I think that's a prideful concession, but I'll take it.
And
I
the
think
Iraqi
you're a
polling.
prick.
The Iraqi
Good.
polling as well.
He didn't show any evidence. Show us any evidence.
I looked up the stats, and basically 70%
You
of the
said you looked
population
up
said
the
they were the
stats,
same or better off
basically
under the
this.
current regime than they
You
were under
also-
Saddam. I said 80%. I was corrected to 70.
Well, where's the stat? Where's the citation?
Fucking Google it.
All right, I don't want to put you both on mute.
No,
I'm
I
having-
don't live on the internet like.
Hold on, Ben. I am putting you on mute. 1 second, Ben. You're being very pushy right now. We have to try to answer this question. We can't just get hung up on.
Imprisoning kids is bad.
Okay.
Always, yeah.
Let's get back to the question. Okay. Imprisoning kids is bad. If this is happening, like, any thoughts, any solutions?
Yeah,
path?
I think that if Israeli critics were honest, okay, incarcerating kids without charge, without due process, whatever, it's fucked up, shouldn't be happening. We should use our leverage in our trade and our negotiations and our relationship with Israel to push them to more humane behavior. Okay. However, I think that the Israeli critics would do well to differentiate between people, I would say, under the age of 10, who are non-combatants, who are not trained in anything, who are not participating in any terroristic activity whatsoever, versus the people 10 and older who are sent to schools and training camps specifically on how to engage in terroristic support. So, yeah, there's my
Or
point.
maybe we could just cut ties with a country that imprisons children, ethnically cleanses people, and lies.
You
to
understand
us
that if we
to
cut ties,
engage-
Israel has
Can
no
I finish my
reason to-
point? You just went on
But
another
your point
speech.
sucks.
He's
whole
being
other
the millennial
speech.
prick that he
You
is.
understand that if we
Ryan,
cut ties with
please,
Israel, they have
Ryan.
no
All right.
reason to
It
behave
is
well
fair.
whatsoever
Connor,
because Russia
come on,
and China
control
doesn't give a
yourself.
fuck.
You're a grown man. You're
All
a
right.
grown
It
man.
is fair to let
Let
Grace
your
respond.
dad was
Hold on,
20
hold on,
words
hold
out.
on. Let's let Grace respond. It is
20
fair.
words out. Yeah,
You
that's right.
shush
Get
up there
muted.
as well, Ben. All right, let's let Grace have a point here. You two
All
fellas.
I was saying is, instead of all the complicated la 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 speech that CounterPoints wants to give, maybe we could just cut ties with a country that imprisons children, ethnically cleanses the people that they are oppressing, and lies to us about intelligence to get us to engage in wars on their behalf. Maybe that is a simpler solution.
Okay,
No,
let me
Russia
tell you
and
why
China,
that's
like you
fucking
said.
stupid as shit.
Look at them.
Okay, the reason
Connor,
why that's
calm
stupid is
down. You should consider expanding your vocabulary.
Dad spurred
should
for
consider
the first 2
expanding
hours.
your
I am
vocabulary,
allowed to
sir.
spurg for the third. Thank you.
Yeah, tell me
Okay.
about how we're shoving
The
Arab
reason
zigs
why-
in their mouths.
The
'cause
reason
we
why
fuck
that's
shit up.
so
More
fucking
swears.
stupid, the reason why what you said is so fucking stupid is because the United States does have some leverage over Israel in reference to our trade relationship. Also something that I didn't mention the whole debate. Half of the population, half of the Jewish population of the planet is in Israel. Half of the Jewish population of the planet is in the United States. So we probably have fairly unique
It's an interesting
leverage.
coincidence.
I'm not done yet. Thank you. So if we completely cut off diplomatic and military ties with Israel, if they want to, they could go to Russia or China. Russia and China don't give two fucks about human rights. So if you care about the little Gazan children, then you should want the United States to use diplomatic leverage in order to pressure Israel. Because if you think that cutting them off cold turkey is going to get what you want, it's going to be worse, infinitely worse.
I don't believe you that Russia and China don't care about human rights. I just don't.
No, the
What evidence
Palestinians
do you
are
have
doing
that they
great
do?
with our alliance. They're doing fantastic.
The Chinese just committed a cultural genocide in Western China within the past half decade.
With
They've
the
done
Uyghurs, right?
religious purges of the Falun Gong. Where
Do you
they
realize
their
that
vital organs.
Do you realize that criticism applies to the country that you are defending our support of? Do you ever realize that,
Wait.
Connor?
So hold on.
Every
Israel-
criticism you make of other
Israel-
countries
no,
applies
no.
to the country that you want us to keep
No,
ties
it
with.
doesn't.
Does that ever
Israel
occur
has
to you?
not conducted a cultural genocide against the Palestinian Muslim population of Israel. They are
Yes,
allowed
it
to practice their
has.
faith. They are allowed to speak Arabic. You laughing doesn't change anything. They're allowed to speak Arabic.
It
They're
is an
allowed to worship their
apartheid
faith.
state.
Not
Grace,
only are you
Grace.
fucking wrong about this, not only are you wrong about this, but there are fucking zero reports of Israel on a systemic level kidnapping and taking the vital organs out of religious minorities. You're full of shit. You're full of shit.
Grace, he thinks the Palestinians should be grateful for our military support of the Israelis. Like, you can't do better than that.
Oh yeah, how could I miss? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
No, yeah.
All right.
I
This is
I
what
love
we're
when
getting
it-
against
All right,
that.
everybody's-
You've been thinking
Bitch
of
about
something
me
Don't
doing
line
a
up and
2-minute speech,
sing
but when I
the,
give you 20 seconds, you just instantaneously misrepresent it in the dumbest fucking analysis I've ever heard.
All right. We're going to carry
Isn't
on
that
there.
true?
Hold
Don't you
on.
think they're much better off under?
No. We're going to carry on because I do think that it's fair that we start wrapping it up. Like I say, we had a few more come in. We're just going to blast through this. Even Lord 7825 says Cleopatra III would have been over 75% inbred. Cool. Bubblegum Gun says WW2 was a Christian Zionist op against nationalism. Okay. Turbo Jericho says, was Connor only a dirty cop for 4 years because he was fired for misconduct? Turbo Jericho is obviously no friend of yours, Connor, so just keep an eye out for this fella because he obviously is not your friend.
No, I did 3 years on patrol. I did 1 year in the schools. I had a family, so I decided that it would be best to take care of my family.
That
I hate to do an
That
ad
tends
hom,
to
but I
happen.
don't think saying that you were a cop for 4 years is really like very impressive. Like 4 years.
he
a
didn't
cop,
say it
okay.
was in his defense. Let's just be
Well,
fair.
I mean,
I
he listed
think
it off
it's-
when he was like, "I'm 6'4", 230 pounds. I was a cop for 4 years." I don't really know if that's really a flex, but
Okay.
maybe it is.
What Grace or Ben, what are you proud of in your lives?
destroying you in this debate. Next question, Ryan.
I'm proud of the way that I've treated
suck.
your mother. I'm proud of the way that I've treated your mother because having a son like you, there should be way more along the lines of the filth that you and my mother engage in. But I think I've been pretty nice with her.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask this again earnestly. I spent 4 years in the military. I got a bachelor's degree, and then I spent 4 years in law enforcement. And I love and am proud of my service, and I have a lot of intense and cool experiences. Grace, you just said this isn't a fucking flex. I want to know what you flex. What are you proud of?
I'm not trying to flex on.
There are some people that don't go on the
You have
internet to
nothing?
flex
You have
because they're-
I'm not
nothing.
trying to flex
You've
on
been
you, Connor. I'm
alive.
trying to engage in a debate, but
Yeah,
you have an ego involved, so you want to flex about your personal achievements. And all I'm pointing out is being a cop for 4 years really isn't as impressive as you think it is. That's all.
Okay, but
See,
Grace,
I
that's
don't
not
think
the
it has the
question of what
effect
I
I really
asked.
do not
Men
think
or
that
women that you think it
conversation,
does.
That's
but-
not
but
what I
the-
asked, though. I
but the
asked you.
flexing, this flexing would not even have happened if you hadn't been insulted this entire debate.
And also, I just want to
Okay,
ask.
so he got triggered into
You're
exposing
in
that he was a
your
cop
what?
for
You're
4
in your
years. I'm
mid-20s
just saying
now.
that's not very
You're in your
impressive.
mid-20s now. Okay, and then Ben, I'm assuming is slightly my senior. So I asked both of you what you're proud of, and so
I'm
far
not here to
you have
tell you.
answered nothing.
I'm
No,
not
I
here to
told you
flex
about
on
your
you.
mother and how gentle I've been with her.
Oh my.
Okay,
All
do
right.
you have anything serious that you're proud of?
That I'm
I
seriously
am
proud.
proud of standing
I'm
up against the
seriously proud of that.
genocide, unlike you. Can we move on, Ryan?
All right, I think
I
it's
mean,
just
you
fair to
were
move
setting
on.
yourself up.
Hold on,
Have
I
you
think
ever been
everybody's.
around other men?
No,
I
hold
mean,
on, Ben. I think it's fair to move on. You've had most of you and Connor, fair enough, have had most of the time here. So I want to just wrap this up here and get our panel out. Connor's trying to trigger everybody with a yawn there, or he's just screaming into the void. I don't know. It's all good.
Screaming into the void.
Turbo Turco once again says China Gen O's side is a lie. I'm not sure what that's all about, but we got to move on. We got to get our speakers out of here. Jamon312, Ben, now is your chance. Mention the Irish. Okay.
I do have a love-hate relationship with the Irish.
All right. Basil Problem says, Garrett, why are you being a loser? Are you scared to talk? I think Garrett was here on another show. You were saying they can go back and check. Garrett had some more screen time. We did have a problem with your mic at one point, but Basil Problem is being you're being a bit of a problem. I don't know if you even want to respond to that.
I don't care what he has to say. So I just want to
just
say
jealous
something else
'cause
about
he's
this
not
debate.
on
It
the
seems like supporting Israel is the lesser of two evils compared to Russia and China having their way. I would think Grace would be in support of the lesser of two evils.
I'm in support generally of the lesser of two evils principle, but I don't see Russia and China. I think this is more propaganda as huge American enemies.
To go back to the analogy of the psycho girlfriend, if some other guy who you don't particularly like wants to try to have sex with the psycho girlfriend, have at it. Have at it. It's nothing but misery.
Yeah, have the Israelis tell Russia and China they're fake intelligence.
Have them do to Russia what they've done to us.
Good.
All right.
Yes. Good point.
I'm going to cut you off there, guys.
Enjoy.
We're going to close out the debate, and we're going to let you have some closing statements as well all around the panel. So we'll give you a virtual round of applause. And I want to remind our audience, if you haven't already, to hit the like button, share this out in the spaces you like having these discussions. Once again, we do have tickets to DebateCon 6. That is linked in our description. So head over to the description of this video. You can also find our crowdfund there, where you can get a signed photo from your favorite debater and more, depending on what tier you decide to donate to the crowdfund. We appreciate everybody who put into super chats as we are working towards getting this DebateCon 6 up and running. It takes a lot of money to do that, so we do appreciate everybody who does, like I say, support the channel. Yeah, let's, I think James has that posted there, so we're going to put our speakers on their closing statements. Usually go reverse style, so yeah, we'll start with counterpoints and we'll work back to Ben.
Yeah. So the crux of what was mentioned hasn't been contested throughout this entire conversation. The Israelis or the Jews have as much of a historical claim to that territory as anybody else. It stretches back 3,200 years. It's verified anthropologically, et cetera, et cetera. Not only that, but I would say 48, 56, 67, 73, Israel has proven itself to be independent. They don't need the money. They don't need the relationship with the United States. They want the relationship with the United States. Like I mentioned a moment ago, half of the Jewish population of the planet is in Israel. The other half is in the United States. Having a good relationship with them is good. Backing, basically us using them for intelligence in the Middle East and North Africa, us also sharing defense tech and defense secrets can be good and productive and good for both people. That's not even to mention the private sector like Intel chips, microchips, entrepreneurialism, business ventures, capital, et cetera, et cetera. Now, what the prompt of the debate was, should we cut off the relationship entirely? My answer at the beginning of the debate, my answer now is no. I think that we should be using the financial and relational tie that we have with the state of Israel in order to get them to behave better. I don't endorse everything that they've done in the Gaza Strip. I don't endorse everything that they've done in the West Bank. I think that America should use its leverage in order to maximize human well-being as much as possible. I don't think the Thorps have represented anything I've said accurately back to me the entire night. I think they just make up whatever the fuck they want to make up as far as a position that the opponents have taken.
We're at time.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's where I'm at. If you want to watch my content, I'm live Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. EST. 2 locations, CounterPoints Politics and Valor Media Network. Check it out.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming out to Modern Day Debate. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to host you. So, yeah, definitely go check that out if you enjoyed what you heard from CounterPoints, Connor on our panel. So thanks for coming out to Modern Day Debate. I'm going to hand it over to Garet for your closing statement, so you get a minute on the floor. And thank you also for coming out to Modern Day Debate.
So Grace and Thorp, excuse me, I misspoke. Sorry, Ben and Grace have not in any way substantively addressed any of the points that were made, especially around Russia and China and maintaining our relationship with Israel, which is hugely beneficial to both countries. So all they've thrown is ad homs and used ridiculous tactics like racism is at the heart of our arguments when it is not. Thanks.
All right, you got it. Well, thank you so much for coming out to Modern Day Debate. And yeah, if you have any links, they should be also in the description. I don't think we have a link for you right now in our description, but if you have one, fire it along, Instagram, wherever people can follow you. We'll get that updated when we can. I'm going to head it over to Grace. You have 1 minute on the floor.
Well, the topic was, should the U.S. cut ties with Israel? And apart from the land argument being promised them 3,000 years ago, literally being a meme, both of our opponents agreed that the U.S. should cut aid to Israel and, cut ties if it doesn't follow certain conditions. But Israel has already proven that it does not listen to the U.S.'s conditions for aid and gets aid anyways. So they basically agree with us that we should cut aid, and aid is our biggest tie with Israel. So that's really cutting ties with Israel. Their arguments for how Israel benefits the U.S. came down to intelligence and peace in the Middle East. As far as intelligence goes, we spent $14 trillion and lost thousands of soldiers in Iraq due to Netanyahu's blatant false intelligence about Saddam Hussein having weapons of mass destruction. And as far as peace goes, Israel bombed Qatari mediators in Qatar in early September, which was so embarrassing to the U.S. that Trump forced Netanyahu to apologize for that. Lastly, our opponents also said they do not support ethnic cleansing or genocide, a heinous moral act that is against international law. It is the very thing that happened to the Jews in Israel that we are sending money to. However, when confronted with the fact that 82% of the Israeli population supports the ethnic cleansing of Gaza, they simply waved it away. Stop funding genocide, stop funding racism, stop funding apartheid, cut ties with Israel.
All right. Over to you, Ben. Thank you for coming on out again. Grace Thorp to Modern Day Debate. You'll see that Grace has the link in the description there, as well as CounterPoints. So once again, as we get links, we will update them. Over to you, Ben, for your closing statement.
Yes, and I just want to also promote my daughter at night's channel, but she does a lot of non-debate kind of fun drama stuff. She's a wonderful young woman, as you can see. Very talented, can sing, can dance, very pretty, etc. So come on over. I just want to say on a personal note, I mean, I just don't think the argument is even makeable, but on a personal note, I had so much fun today. I think me debating with Connor, I think the chat would have to say it was Keno. It was everything that blood sports as always. And I hope he doesn't take personal effrontery from our interactions. I think he's hilarious. I love the
I figured half of it was you being a dick. I figured half of it was banter.
I think
it's just 100%.
He does look like you burned him out a little bit. He might need to rest up for a day.
He's been doing this pose for a while.
No, I'm just picking. All right, let's finish up your closing statement and get you out of here.
I haven't been around guys for a while. I grew up with brothers, so I'm banter backed up. You know what I mean? And also, Ryan, I think you did a tremendous job. I think I may have gotten the record for most mutings. I think I was muted 80 times, and I love that. I love the Dom sub routine with that, and I think you do a great job. You're super tolerant. I will tell you today, I was kicked out of no less than 4 debate panels, 3 atheists, including Matt Dillahunty, and Rob Noor. Rob Noor. Who is an Andrew Wilson sycophant. But I'd love to be on more of these debates. I'm super fun. I don't take anything personally. And I'd love to, I hope the chat can back that I provided some good content. And I don't take any of it personally. Love you guys. Don't care. And whatever, it's nothing personal. Don't hate me.
Thank you, Sam Cedars, weird brother. All right, thank you, Ben. Like I said, you take it with grace. I appreciate it. I like when I have at least one panelist I can pick on a little bit. I mean, that's Newfoundlander way about me. Anyway, thanks again, everybody. Check out the tickets linked in the description. We're going to let our speakers out of here, and I'm going to reroute you over to Yerba Mate Talks. That's Max's after show that he's hosting, our beloved moderator here in the live chat. So thank you all for hanging out here at Modern Day Debate. We hope you like and subscribe to the channel, and once again share this video out in the spaces you like having these debates. We know that there's a lot
Don't forget
of it,
to
so.
separate the reasonable from the unreasonable.
Ooh, go into the old tags.
Yes, thank you, Garrett.
Garet is an OG. He is an OG. And no, you're done, Ben. We're getting out of here.
No, I'm
Thanks,
just saying
everybody.
thank you very much.
I thought you were
Goodbye.
putting your
I'm just
hand
waving
up.
goodbye.
I was to say,
No.
no more. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Good
We'll see you
night.
next time.
Take care. Good night.
Cheers.
Good night.